up, everybody? My name is James D. Fiore, and this is Casual Friday. Today was interesting. First of all, tonight we have three special guests and maybe four. But today was interesting. I interviewed Emily Muse from Massage Muse Spa. I think it's her Muse Massage Spa or something. It was really interesting. It wasn't like a funny, farcical kind of interview. It was. I didn't know she was so politically active, so that was interesting to find out that. And without further to do, as Carlito Brigante once said, let's welcome my co-host. His name from the Eager Beaver podcast. His name is Douglas Connors. Douglas,
hello everyone.
how are you?
Hi,
buddy?
my friend. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing also well.
Excellent.
You know what's really interesting is that being a guy and talking to someone who owns a business that deals with sex work, and just having a frank discussion about it without it really getting into like political stuff or you know what I mean or frat boy stuff or anything like that. It was. I learned something from her. She's really interesting. She's the municipality in Toronto gave her one of very few license to be a body rub place. So there's
Right.
I think that we talked about how when women own establishments like that or strip clubs and things like that, that the vibe is totally different and it's totally more. It is safer,
Right.
and yeah, just the political stuff. And we got to I got to talk to her about the Twitter battle, and you and I have had a few of those that her and I had last week. I think you were part of that too, where the polyab idea of showing ID before
yes.
entering porn sites things. And it's really interesting. This is why I hate social media so much. I don't have the type of personality that should be on social media because I don't think it brings out the worst in me. I think it makes people misunderstand me. I think if I said exactly what I typed, but I just said it in a conversation like this, I think people would be, oh, okay, and it would go back and forth. But on social
Yes.
media, it's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? And you're just like, I'm just trying to state an
Yep.
opinion.
Yep.
know? But it's good. It's good. And I told her, and the same thing I've told everyone else. I have that. I must have that issue. I am the common denominator often, but I think if you weigh intent with reception, then I think people in hindsight would be like, okay, maybe this isn't something that I should take too seriously. And by the way, I'm right most of the time, Douglas. Like it's not like. Just kidding.
Yes, my friend. Yes, you are.
There. Yeah. Pat my head with your words, why don't you? I mentioned that we might have a special guest tonight, so why don't we bring one on right now?
Oh, yay.
He is, I would consider, Canadian entertainment royalty with a lowercase r because he's not pretentious. What do you think of that? And he's not missing like another royal appears to be. Yes. Oh, God. And
Only
his
I
name,
know where she is. Only I know where she is.
Yeah, I know.
I got the crown.
Yeah, I know. You guys are exchanging recipes and shoes or something. But his name is Spencer Rice, aka Spenny. Spenny,
Hey,
how are you, buddy?
lovely to see you.
Nice to see you too, buddy.
How you been?
You know,
Uh,
I learned how to change the algorithm on my X platform, which has been a
Ooh.
real good help for me emotionally because I'm very easily triggered.
So, do you don't want to see the things
Wow.
that you don't agree with politically, or the things that make you mad?
The things that make me upset, yeah.
Can you give me a couple examples
Israel.
so I can tag you in some stuff?
Israel. I won't see it. I mean, I did it for a day, and already the algorithm has changed significantly.
Really?
I did some day drinking today, so I'm a little out of it. But
Oh, that's good. It's Casual Friday. It's all good.
Yeah.
We like that here.
good.
I want to know how you did that eventually at some point because you would think that AI would recognize by now that I'm gay.
Yeah, does it?
What?
You're
Gay
gay.
idar? Gay like gaydar, but for AI?
Yeah, that computer has no gaydar. It keeps on sending me it keeps on sending me photos of some AI generated ladies all the time that are apparently just waiting me all the time. And then
It's because
they
you look
do
like
send-
Saddam. Saddam had a whole bunch of hoes. Like
maybe.
He's
But then
better.
they try to trick me by sending ones that have guys' names, but they're actual photos of girls. And it's like, wow, Scott, you've changed a lot since we last talked.
I could tell you very quickly.
If I said that, that would be transphobic, by the way. But go ahead.
You go to the house, which is, I guess, the home screen or whatever, and all the tweets. There's one side that says "for you" and the other side, I'm not
Follow.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on the "for you" side, you go
We got that.
scroll down, find a tweet you don't like or you don't want to be involved in generally. Then there's the 3 little dots up at the top right-hand corner, and menu comes down, and the very first thing says "not interested in this post." And if you do that enough, your algorithm will change.
So that's the thing that they used to offer, that they've always given you the option to put on ads, right? On Twitter, I thought.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in this ad or whatever it is. Maybe it's Facebook.
It's
That's
for
good.
everything. It's for everything, not just ads. But no, it's for everything.
I didn't know that, by the way, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later, because Ryan Lindley wanted to talk about it. But I've noticed that I don't consume much news lately because I didn't know that there was a Kate Middleton thing.
Yes.
I didn't even know. I was just like, oh. And then I looked at this CNN article just now, and I'm like, first of all, it was like 3,000 words. I'm just like, oh my God, like, and a lot of people are conflating real things with conspiracies, outlandish conspiracy. And it's like, yeah, welcome to our world now, like with every single thing. Do you guys watch news anymore?
Yes.
You do. What do you watch?
Off and on. I listen to a lot of it. I don't watch as much.
I sadly watch CNN. It's always on in the house. I don't necessarily pay attention to it all the time. It's just been a habit of mine for a long time.
I used to like that, the background media noise of a news network.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah, you feel like you're getting the breaking news first, which is completely ridiculous. It doesn't matter, but for some reason that
it's everything's breaking news too on CNN. Like that the movie trailer music that they have for the weather. Like you're just like, oh my God, like
breaking weather.
Is nuclear war gonna break out during the weather? Like, yeah. Spenny, how's your touring been going, and when do you go back on the road again?
You know what? We've got some dates next month. We had a U.S. tour. The promoter kind of didn't do what we wanted him to do, so we had to get rid of him, and we're getting another promoter to hit the U.S. probably now. It's not going to be till the I want to say fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, that's good.
But I did launch, and I will proudly plug my Patreon page, which
please do.
It's a wonderful thing. Yeah, it's just patreon.com/Spencer Spenny Rice, but it's like having your own little network. It's actually kind of cool.
So give me your experience. The Patreon. Remember when Patreon went through that period of time where they were like, people were attempting to brand them as like a far right kind of Rumble-ish kind of thing. You remember that when Patreon started canceling accounts of political people that they didn't like. Do you guys not remember this? In like 2016 to 2018 or something. Maybe it was later than that. Anyways, sorry, you're not a right winger, but what have you found?
I'm getting close. I got to be honest with you.
Really?
That's another story.
That's an Israel story again.
Well, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I don't like anybody, and I'm probably going to sit out the next election, and I'm getting lots of hate for that, as if I'm going to help Pierre Poilievre, who I would never vote for, become elected. But at some point, you got to pick what's important to you, and then behave.
So I always find these answers different from people, but give me the case for not voting for you personally.
I really think the Liberal Party of Canada is, I won't say anti-Semitic, but they are not, in my view, and from what I've seen. I mean, my God, Jolie, whatever her name is, was shaking hands with Mahmoud Abbas. I mean, the guy's a Holocaust denier. He's a horrible human being. And I don't know if they do it for political reasons, because there's maybe more Middle Eastern people in Canada. He's
the safe Palestinian to shake hands with.
No,
West Bank.
He shouldn't be. Anybody that denies the Holocaust is dead to me immediately. Like, it's just ridiculous. The most documented, war crime in the history of the world. And by the way, this doesn't mean that I'm pro Netanyahu. I'm not. Yeah. But I don't feel like Jews are getting a fair shake. They're not getting protected from the police, all those kinds of things. And I never thought that it would mean this much to me, but I wear my heart on my sleeves, and I'm emotionally very disturbed by it. And I can't support Trudeau anymore because of this. And I was supporting Trudeau.
And so, what about the NDP or the Greens? Like,
Don't know. I'd have to do some research. I've got, 9 months, 10 months, 11 months to make up my mind if I want to do that. But I used to just be not sort of apolitical, but I followed it for entertainment.
Right.
But I never really put my hat in the ring. And then I had a daughter who has autism, and we got some help from the government, and I felt that was worth supporting the Liberals for. If it was even them, I'm not even sure. It might have been more of a provincial thing. I'm really not sure. But this whole thing has hit me very, very hard. And I'm Jewish, so the amount of hate I'm getting, not so much anymore, because I blocked probably 1,000 people over the last bunch of weeks. I mean, you're a kike, it just awful stuff. And it was always there, anti-Semitism. I know for a fact, because I'd seen it before, but now it's just completely gone right off the deep end.
Yeah.
when I was in grade 7, I went to a Catholic school, and we had a nun come, and I was always, by this time I didn't believe in God, so I think I was maybe 11 or 12 when I stopped believing in God. And so, but I didn't wear it on my sleeve because I went to a Catholic school, and it just wasn't. It wasn't the style at the time. There was no Christopher Hitchens space for us to talk about this shit. But but I always ask questions, and so a very common question that a lot of kids ask is, if you don't believe in Jesus, like what happens to you, like when you die? And she used the example of the Jews and said they go to hell.
Yeah.
I'm like,
oh yeah,
wow.
That's an old story. It goes back to the Zions and Elder and drinking baby blood and all this.
Just that it was like 1988, and this was a person in front of my school talking to me about that. Seems late for someone to say a comment like that to me.
The funny thing, I'm a fan of the historical Jesus, not the spiritual Jesus. I believe Jesus was a rabbi. I believe that the church didn't start till 200 years after he died. But if you just look at Jesus as a rabbi or a philosopher, or whatever you want to call him, he's a pretty righteous dude. I mean, the things that he said has nothing in common with, what the Republicans in the United States seem to think being Christian is.
I look at Jesus as a teamster. I think he was a teamster. Trying to stand up for the little guy, right? Like,
it seems like that's what he was about. But I learned about his brother. I did a lot of studying on the historical Jesus. Actually, an Arab wrote a book about the true Jesus. I read it. I can't think of his name now. He was on CNN, and he got cut for some reason or canceled. Whatever. But
it was called Zealot.
Yes.
Yeah, I forget the name of the author right now too. Hold on. But yeah, he was a pretty good speaker. I don't remember what he got canceled for.
I don't either.
His name is Reza Aslan.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. And he, oddly enough, he would write this to me very intriguing and interesting book about Jesus, just based on what he thinks is fact, not religious, nonsense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Douglas.
Yes.
Do you want to weigh in on the Israel thing at all? Just because I know that you like the Liberals, and I'm not saying that to disparage you.
No.
But I was just wondering, like Spenny, we all have our ways of receiving things, and then how we feel about it emotionally, especially Spenny, since you're Jewish.
Yeah.
It's a very different ball of wax for you than it is for me, kind of thing.
Obviously.
Yeah. And I was just wondering and I'm not trying to create conflict, because I know you guys are cool. So I'm just wondering what your take is on the liberal policies and Jolie's shaking hands with Abbas and things like that.
For me, it's I have no horse in the race other than there are people that I love who are Jewish, and there are people I love who are Arab, and I see everybody being forced into the middle of something that nobody should be playing with. I see. In the practical sense, I can see how a government of a nation would want to maintain an open door to communicating with either side. So if there ever comes a time where situations change on the ground, that one side's ear is more willing to bend because something happened, that you're there because you're seen as someone who didn't rush in to take a side.
The Liberals probably
But-
also thought, Douglas, just a quick interjection, that Joe Lee was a better person to shake his hand than Trudeau. Right?
Yes, that would definitely be the case in that, because that would be extra polarizing. My take on it from the beginning has always been the Palestinian people are not Hamas and the Jewish people are not Netanyahu, and
Bingo.
you got to care about the people before anything else. So, but I also don't see how the government can make a decision if they go all in on the side of Israel. Then there is what's going on right now in Palestine. There's a lot of civilians who are dying, and it's terrible. If you're just playing numbers on a strategy, if you're being cold and dispassionate, there is about 1.8 million people who identify as Muslim and fewer than 400,000 who identify as Jewish. If you're playing numbers, it's a cold, ugly game. But I could see why, if somebody's being cold, ugly, and dispassionate, why it is they would pick that. And I can see, and then I could see if they had gone on all in on the side of Palestine, which it appears to a lot of people that they're more on that side than on the other. There's no winning there too, because then 400,000 people, even if you take the scale and you say, well, that's fewer than 1.8, so I'm better there. It's still a sizable amount of people.
I'm pretty pragmatic, and I love what you just said. Pretty much everything you just said was a decent way to approach this. It's the disproportionate. I don't mind liberal government or any government reaching out to Muslims. I don't even dislike Muslims. The reality is it feels disproportionate to a lot of Jews.
Yeah,
that's basically it.
There seems to be a standard line sometimes you hear in these situations like this: we don't negotiate with terrorists. It's like, yeah, we do all the time.
Yeah.
We do all the time. It's like
I've never
Hamas has hostages. Who else are you going to negotiate with to get them released?
The world
You're
is
going to
run by
negotiate with
gangsters,
terrorists,
fellas. Like that's
right?
just the way it
I
is,
mean,
it's always been that way. I agree. But what? No one has ever, with all the brilliant minds that have opined about this horrible situation, no one's ever really given me a decent answer to how Israel deals with such a malignant force as Hamas. And I find, and that doesn't mean, by the way, that I agree with what Netanyahu is doing. I don't. But it's a hell of a pickle for Israel to be in. Really, it is. And I do have a lot of empathy for them. I heard today, I don't know if it's true, that 80% of Israelis want, I think it was Warren Kinsella was on Adler's podcast today. And he said that 80% of Israelis, from a poll that he read, a respectable poll, don't want Netanyahu.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
So-
as what's her face, not what's her face. That's so impolite. As Sherry DeNovo, what's her face, friend of the show. I know. It's just like, wow. As Sherry DeNovo said to me, people forget that there was tens of thousands of people marching on the streets, calling for the removal of Netanyahu before October 7th.
Yeah, like for weeks.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of trouble beyond this.
I mean, there's a lot of this that he's using politically also to sort of like stave off what's the inevitable that's happening. The longer this lasts, the better it is for him in terms of keeping his own butt out of jail.
It's super dangerous too, because this will be his legacy.
Yep.
And he's all in.
This is what shot. I have to say this. I'm not going to use her name, but she used to be the mayor of Peterborough. I believe she's been on Dean's show a few times.
Mhm.
Yes.
Someone I actually liked, and somehow I got into it with her on social media, and I told her that I condemn some of what Netanyahu is doing. I don't think it's good for the Jewish people, and I think it's inhumane. And I asked her can you condemn Hamas? And to me, that's a no-brainer for anybody who knows anything about it.
You could have condemned Hamas before this happened.
Yeah. So she wouldn't do it. She couldn't do it.
That's for a lot of people, and I know because this happened when I interviewed Sage Francis and Old Boy Rhymes, and you were in the chat. I want to sometimes being succinct when you ask a certain question, and trust me, I know this because my context often gets mangled. It feels loaded when people read a question like that. It doesn't feel
if you don't condemn Bibi, I could see that. But since I did that, I was very frank with her about that.
But maybe if you said something like, "Are you able to see the shortcomings and flaws on each side," rather than "Can you condemn us?" Because it just makes people defensive. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's my communications advice to you for this casual Friday spinning.
Anyways,
That's pretty slick, actually.
Anyways, I blocked her, and I don't ever want to see her face again. And I've admitted I'm emotional about this issue. I'm very emotional about it. And Israel is not necessarily going to always be there. People have this idea that Israel's there and it's always going to be there. They're surrounded by enemies. United States is now talking about certainly staving off some of their military assistance, and who knows who gets in power, what could happen. Israel could be wiped off the map, literally, and that's very real to me. And I don't want to gaslight the issue, but I do think it's a reasonable thing to say, given where they are.
And considering everything that's going on right now, there's a whole other generation that's being raised and cultivated and everything for this to be happening again in 35 years or 25 years. I mean, all the seeds for the next one is being planted. Nobody's doing anything to stop this from ever happening again. Yeah. It's literally everybody who's suffering and who's feeling pain about this on both sides right now are the people in the next generation that are going to keep this going on.
I'd like to get Doug's opinion on this. I have a feeling I know James's, but obviously you can give me your opinion as well. I have become so disenchanted with woke, and I know woke is a loaded term. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. For me, I considered myself woke. I considered their support of diversity, gays, yada, 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 to be wonderful. And then this war happened. And, I really hate to say this. I can't even tell you how much I hate to say this, but Jordan Peterson, guy I don't like at all.
It's okay.
When he talks about the education system and when he talks about things pertaining to woke, there's many things I can't stand about what he says. I think he's so right, and it pains me to say it. It pains me to say it. It's that Marxist thing that it's just the oppressed versus the oppressor. There's no nuance. People immediately side with the least powerful. In fact, there was a woman who did an 11-minute video I saw on X, and she was Jewish, clearly, and she explained this in a way that was, I thought, extremely succinct, simple to understand, and quite frightening and disturbing to me. That this, you know what it is? This is what it is. And James, I think you get this because both of you just said gangsters kind of run things. The idea of making all your decisions based on a very shallow moral argument is hopelessly naive. Their hearts are probably in the right place, but you start doing that and cutting off your allies and your friends, and you start to support things that maybe you don't even understand that you're supporting, just because the superficial overview looks like, oh, big bad Israel is pummeling these poor Palestinian people, which, by the way, is true. But if you're making a judgment without nuance, that's why I love what Douglas said, because he played both sides, which you have to. If you're a decent person, you have to have empathy, I believe, for the Palestinian people. This is what I don't like about Netanyahu. But I am completely, my eyes are wide open about this whole woke. And I don't know if it's a youth thing. I don't know what it is, but it's dangerous and it's dumb. And I hate to say it, but that's how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah. Was there a question? Did you have? So, what was the opinion of Douglas that you wanted to?
Well, no. When Douglas talked about it, he was thoughtful. You could see that he was uncomfortable talking about it, which I think we all should be. It's a very uncomfortable situation, and he said that clearly said that there's problems on both sides, and that's all I want to hear. But I'm not hearing a lot of pure anti-Semitism. I want to wipe Israel off the map. Jews are horrible people. I mean, this is all Holocaust Nazi shit. Yeah. And I'm seeing a lot of it, and that's why I'm changing the algorithm, because I can't handle it.
Yeah, I think when James was saying that I like the liberals, it's not that direct. It's of my choices, I like the government that is the party that looks like is going to provide me with the most competent government and act like the adults in the room. And that happens to be the liberals at the moment, even with this. However, when I'm looking at it, I'm trying to take When it comes to global affairs, I like to believe that as soon as you're talking about it in terms of moral sense, you've already lost, because there are no friends and there's no right or wrong. It's about interests strictly. And sometimes you make the altruistic move for the wrong reasons, and you make moves that are terrible for the right reasons. And, you're moving pieces on a chessboard. If we're expecting our governments to be moral first in such situations, we're probably deluding ourselves in that case. I think any party that we would have at this time that would be in government, doesn't matter what stripe it is, green, blue, purple, whatnot, would be facing the same dilemma. In a country that's pluralistic like ours, where we have a significant portion of members of the Jewish faith and people who love them, significant portions of people of the Muslim faith and people who love them, and people who are of neither of these faiths who love people in both camps. It's like, how do you literally choose a side in this? If we were more of a monolithic country, it might be easier like this. But we've chosen to be pluralist. We're on this experiment, and we have this formed something going on in another country, one of whom we're allied more than the others. Right?
Yeah.
And we have two groups of people in Canada who are seeing terrible things happen to people that they love. And then you got this really, no other word but fucked up situation because of just the geography of the area. It's so small and it's so densely populated. And on the Egyptian side, there's nobody getting out of on the other side of the border because of what the PLO did back the last time that they were given refuge there. I mean,
Right.
they
No one wants to
caused,
talk about, well, not no one, but you're absolutely right. Why aren't the Arab countries letting these people? They won't let them in.
Because everywhere the Arab countries let the PLO in a time of crisis before, they caused unrest there afterwards, right? Jordan, it's Egypt.
Can someone read me? I can see my name. I don't have my glasses on. It's a complete blur. I said something. Spenny's totally woke.
Yeah, just to paraphrase it, it said that you were totally. Here, open it up. So it says woke just means being empathetic, Spenny. You are literally the most woke person around. Have you even seen your show? But you were right, Spenny. And we're going to invite Ryan and Ashley Lindley in about a minute here.
I just wanted to finish that point.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So I don't envy any government at this particular moment. I don't think any party that would be in government at any time would be doing much better on this one, because it's literally completely impossible.
Doing dick all about synagogues being protested.
No, that stuff, yes, that stuff could be better done domestically. Yes, that part.
Is that federal or provincial, Doug? I don't really know. Douglas, is that, do you know?
It's a combination, but it's a policing issue, so it probably would be provincial for anything that. It would be provincial, because even in the provinces that have an RCMP detachment, they still respond to the provincial. There's a division there, not the federal.
Yeah.
So this would be provincial in this case, but. Yes, domestically, there definitely could be more that's done to try and maintain some order, to maintain a little bit more order. But when you add to that toxic fuel of being on the internet and what you were talking about before, like this, where you don't, it comes up a lot, where you don't have the benefit of all the things that come in the voice when you're communicating, right? There's like over 60-70% of a message is not the words, it's the tone, the inflection, the look in your eyes when you say it, whether you're making eye contact, the hesitation and wanting to take a position, or all those little things are little bits of data that just vanish when you're in written form. So online, it's just literally the worst place to be talking about stuff like this. Yeah, and then when you're talking about the woke stuff, I've been on that end myself when Black Lives Matter held up the Pride Parade in Toronto at one point. I remember. Here I am. I'm someone with both camps, right? I'm part Black and I'm very, very gay, and I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, like, which side do I pick? And I couldn't pick a side, right? And I got accused by people who are white of siding with the oppressors, I guess, and wanting to keep Black people down, because I dared to say, while I support the cause, I didn't approve of the tactics.
Bingo.
And it was like, well, you have to approve of the tactics if you support the cause. It's like, no, I've never been at any cost.
And that touches the whole cultural Marxism point that you're making, Spenny. That
So that's what I mean. There is a very vocal, loudmouthed bunch on that side that if you are not like as pure can be, you side with the oppressor, and that's all there is to it. And they write you off and they discount you. That serves no one. Just like on the far right, it's like if you ever make like shake hands with a liberal, you are dead to me, right? Because you got some liberal on you, and it's just both those don't work. Both those don't work.
And let's avoid buzzwords like woke, because really it's a subjective term. It doesn't really mean anything specific, because that's what happens with language. People apply their own nuance to it, their own definitions to it. So woke for some is like the Brooklyn liberal that, where you can't call your girlfriend because it means you possess her, like those fuckers, right? Like to a lot of people, that's what woke is. So it's like, to other people, it just means you have a good conscience and you want to stand up for people's rights. Avoid the buzzwords altogether, because if we can't agree on anything in this world anymore. And to prove that, let's welcome to the show Ryan Lindley.
Ryan.
I've been sitting back here thinking, I've got the answer, you fuckers, and you guys don't even put me on. I could have solved this entire thing.
Why don't
so
you?
you know, I can.
Go ahead.
No, don't do that. I just won't talk.
Well, that'd be kind of dope too, actually.
Here's your podcast. No, all we got to do, we have to figure out one thing, okay? And the one thing we need to figure out is, how do we convince 5 billion people that there are no imaginary men in the sky controlling our lives?
Yeah.
Once we get rid of that, guess what?
Yeah.
Nobody hates anybody anymore. The only reason why anybody hates Jews is because it's religion. I'm sorry, but
it's partly religion, but this is
mostly
land and what they call colonialism, which I don't think it is.
But why? But draw it back. Why? Why is it land? Because it's holy land for both people. Guess what? It's a piece of fucking garbage desert that nobody wants to fucking live in. But now we're all just puffing our chests up and fighting over it. Get rid of a religion. Nobody cares if it's holy anymore. I'm telling you, religion is the bane of and it'll be the end of us. It will eventually be the end of us. Finally, somebody will fucking push that button, and we will all die in the name of some fucking. I have a problem. Santa Claus.
With that idea that God forbid there's a nuclear incident that the whole world dies. I mean, that's just nonsense, in my opinion. It's a horrible thing. But there will always be, unless, I guess every superpower would have to launch missiles all over the, you know what I mean? Like, it's a horrible thing. I
used to think that 20 years ago would never be a thing. Today, I'm not so sure. It's like 50-50 for me now.
I don't know. People
What's
survive.
50-50?
The idea of everybody pushing buttons just to,
There's a good documentary right now on Netflix that I'm watching. I think it's called The Cold War and the Bomb or something like that. I
saw it. I didn't see the movie, but I saw that.
Yeah, it's really good. It explains all the politics that have gone into nuclear weapons. Like, at one point, between the U.S. and the USSR, there were 70,000 nuclear weapons, enough to destroy the world like so many times. And the good news is that there's at the end of the day, even when Russia and the United States were like arch enemies. And militarily, fighting each other around the world and proxy wars with communism, blah, blah, blah. They still found the argument compelling enough. Hey, if I do this to you, I'm dead too, as a way to not foster a nuclear holocaust on this planet. I don't know what would happen now. I don't think that I think there was more political savvy back then. Like when Khrushchev sent that letter to Kennedy, talking about like it was a more aggressive tone or whatever during the Cuban Missile Crisis, and Kennedy just ignored it and sent a letter that was basically he sent 2 letters, Khrushchev, and he just answered the moderate one instead of the extreme one, and they never talked about it again. They talked about it years and years later about how that happened, and there's these little things like that I don't think people have anymore. I don't think political leaders have that kind of.
There's no nuance. Yeah.
No, there's none. Like, do you trust anything? Like, if Trudeau got together with Putin it doesn't matter how you feel about either of them, and I'm not equating them clearly. I don't think anything's going to get done. And I don't think it's like, Putin has negotiated in the past quite successfully, in certain, when he first got into office. And then now he's like Netanyahu. He's at the end, he's at the twilight of his political career, and he's trying to form a legacy. And that's both those wars, you can measure it like that. Old men who have been around the block in their country's political and military, constructs, whatever you want to call them, are now about to retire or die or go to jail, and this is their swan song. And look how dangerous it is.
It's hard to defend democracy when you don't have a democracy that's worth defending. Is kind of where I'm at now in the last I'd say year and a half to 2 years. It's tough when I look at the resilience of like the Ukrainians right now, and I know why their resilience is so steadfast, and it's because they're a young democracy and they still actually value it, and they actually know what it's like to not have it.
Yep.
We don't have that. We are in the same political circle jerk that we've been in for 100 years.
Yep.
When it comes to conservatives, liberals, the same arguments, the same fights, the rhetoric gets turned up, the action gets turned down. So it's all about sound bites. And all we've done now is made it easier for these idiots to get sound bites out on both sides. Back in the day,
technology has made it, Ethan.
Yeah,
Douglas,
it's ruined politics.
Douglas, are you waiting to go, buddy?
I do have to go,
Sorry,
unfortunately.
yeah.
No worries. Ryan Lindley's
sorry,
here now,
Ron.
so you didn't get to say much. Well,
I know. No, I'm so sorry because I love spending your time with you guys. But unfortunately, our show "We Will Rock You" is opening on the 28th of March. So we are doing a promo night at a bar. All of us are going down, and we're invading the bar for karaoke night.
oh,
So-
awesome.
Have fun.
Enjoy it.
All
We'll
right,
talk soon, brother. We'll see you Monday.
bye
on your show.
everyone.
See you,
Thanks
buddy.
for joining us. Bye, my friends.
See you later.
Good to see you, man.
Oh,
And then there were three.
that's right. I think you're right, though, Ryan. I think that it's and why do we
I
have
love what you
social?
said that democracy isn't even.
Well, it's
not even worth it anymore.
Absolutely messed up and criminal and lobbyists. I mean, it's just money. It's corrupt.
look at the American election. If I hear one more person, I swear to Christ, defend Joe Biden's faculties, I am going to and I'm not saying vote Trump either, but I think you need to isolate on Joe Biden, make an opinion, then isolate on Trump, make an opinion. Do not just go, well, he seems like he's like he's competent because I hate Trump. That's not an argument. The man is basically Weekend at Bernie's, and we're just like, come on, man. I know. Listen, we're polarized. So if I say something like that, people are like, fucking MAGA. But no, I hate Donald Trump with the passion of 1,000
330
suns.
million people, and those are the two that we found, I guess.
Right?
Like that's what I don't understand. Like those are the best two to put up there.
I still think that they're going to replace them at the convention. I think a lot of people are going to come to their senses in that Democratic Party, and they're going to be like, look, like this is 2016 all over again. If we don't find a last minute person to like see if we can get half the country to rally around, and I don't know who that would be. They'd probably pick someone safe like Gavin Newsom or something like that.
I will be absolutely stunned if that happens.
Yeah, same here.
But again, I was stunned that Trump won. So
Every bet worth making is one that will stun the people.
The Democrats don't make risky bets. They don't.
They
do
are
it.
making the risky bet by running a corpse. Like you can't.
They did that 4 years ago, though. He was a
I
corpse then.
don't
He's a
think
corpse
he's
now.
that bad. I
Oh,
really don't.
come on, really?
Really.
It's senility.
He's old. He's old. He's slowed down. No question about it.
It's senility versus stupidity in that election. That's what it is.
Senility versus. Well, first of all, I think Trump's.
I think he's senile too. Yeah.
Or he's the stress is getting to him. I mean,
They've actually had linguists.
Who would you rather be
actual
driving the
professional-
car?
oh, Biden.
Just say what?
Does Trump know how to drive? First of all, besides a golf course, a golf cart. I don't even think he does that. He's got some security.
Okay, I think
Yeah. They had linguists actually
Biden's
look at
got a
them.
Corvette. I mean, he speeds around. And
Trump speaks at a grade 3 level,
sure.
where and they said that like a guy like Obama was at a grade 11 comprehension level, and
Obama?
yeah, believe it or not,
I saw him speak live at a Democratic fundraiser with Hillary Clinton, and he was mind-bogglingly amazing.
Yeah.
His
You
energy.
know who else was great was Clinton. I met Clinton once here in Hamilton, and he was one of the friendliest, nicest people. And he actually said the most poignant thing about politics to me. He said, all politics are local. He said, what we do is fuck all. He says, your councilmen or whatever they have out there, aldermen or whatever it is in the States, he used the term, but he said, that's who makes the actual decisions. That's who affects your day to day. What we do on the high level, nothing compared to that. Yeah. And it's true. And you look at your taxes, what you pay in taxes a year, right? What you pay to the Fed, what you pay to the province, compared to what you pay municipally. Like, everybody complains that their taxes go up municipally, but every single thing that touches your daily life comes from those taxes. Your garbage, your police, your fire, except for, ambulance now, because they downloaded it. Conservatives downloaded it, the provinces, years ago. So all that shit comes from there, like that $3,000 or $5,000 or $7,000 a year that you pay a year, that you complain about. But you look at the 15 to 25,000 a year that come off your paychecks, and you don't really bitch. You're like, oh, it's just what it is. Yeah, it's disgusting. Yeah, we're busted. We're busted. I think that's what it is. I hate using the term, but we're due for some sort of a reset. Like some sort of a reset. And I'm not saying a totalitarian reset or anything like that. We just need something.
You mean financially?
No. I mean politically. I mean politically, the way we run our politics, the way we allow politics to run.
That's why I was really disappointed in Trudeau when he broke his promise about that being the last first past the post election. Mm-hmm. I literally thought like that was like my number one issue. I thought that was like a game changer. I thought, like it would be at least very interesting to see what would happen. Like, based on the fact that we have two parties that constantly rotate in and out, like, you vote one guy out, the other guy goes in, then the guy gets scandal, or then that party is embroiled in scandals. Then you get fatigue for that guy, so you vote him out. You don't vote the other guy in, but it's just like enough of this shit. Like, proportional representation at least it also would allow all the different levels of government to actually work with one another. Rather than look what Danielle Smith is doing right now in Alberta, where she's just like, don't try to tell us how to run our pharmacare. And it's just like, bitch, you don't even want pharmacare. Like,
why are we modeling ourselves against the way that the U.S. We've never done this in the history of our democracy, where if there's like an election, we don't hear about it until it's like 6 to 8 weeks prior to the election. Now we've got Pierre Poilievre campaigning to be the PM, which that's not how it works here, but okay. Why are we doing that now? Like, when did we accept this as Canadians on either side of the fence? I'd be telling them, fuck off. I don't want to hear about it. All I've heard about is politics for the last 4 years from the fucking both of you. Shut the fuck up. Just go to work and I'll see you in October,
Yeah.
You've been saying that for a long time, Ryan.
Yeah. The lengthy campaigning and without calling it campaigning.
Yeah, it's bullshit, and it's on the taxpayer dime.
If the writ doesn't drop, most people don't tune in, anyways.
That's true.
And this is all, and and Paul was the worst at this because he was like I can't remember what the post was, but every time he ends the post or when he stands up in question period and uses the exact tagline that his marketing materials are using. Yeah. I'm just like, you are so condescending to Canadians. Like, right now, you sound like a flyer, you fucking idiot. Like, I need that shit to stop. Like, and we're gonna axe the tax. It's like, sit down, Bruno. I don't want to hear that shit. Like, fuck.
That's okay. Bill, that Bill 124. That was good news that got overturned, and now we're $6 billion in debt to our public sector for nurses, teachers, whoever was supposed to get that raise. Including my wife, by the way. She had to submit some documents to go and get some retro pay, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, he's for the people when compelled by the Supreme Court to be for the people, is what our premier is in this province.
Yeah, so. He's a little Teflonish, isn't he?
He really is, and that whole family is, right. And Rob was just folksy and cracky, so it was like, okay, whatever. He's just a crackhead, and he's like, and he's so folksy.
That's the last word, Ryan. You know this.
Huh?
I said death has the last word, Ron. You know this.
Yeah, it's true. But I love. I'll tell you. I was romanticized. I was wined and dined by that. Remember that video he put out with all of his memberships that he got as a city councilor, and he started cutting them up at his desk, going, "This is bullshit. We shouldn't be getting this." And I'm like, "Yeah, man. That's what I want to see as a tax-paying citizen of
Doug or Rob?
Rob.
Rob.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, he had the retail politics game down to a
Really
science.
did. Yeah, he
You know,
really
like
did.
he knew people's names, you know, and even though it makes a like, because, and then it pisses me off. Like progressives would say the obvious thing. They would be like, what he cut up on that desk accounts for 0.014% of the budget. And it's just like, so what? It's still worth something. You know what I mean? Like, and it shows like, because there's so many entitlements and per diems and like free lunches. Senator, whatever the fuck your name is, you don't need a free lunch. You make enough money to go to McDonald's, you asshole. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah, it started in city council, like, and we look at it the most in city council. Like it gets scrutinized a lot, but a lot of people don't realize there's another thing that's kind of neat. Did you know that it's illegal for a city, like a corporation, a township, to run a deficit?
Yes.
Did you know that the province can actually take over the city and like seize control if you run a deficit in this province?
Yeah. Well,
Part
I
of
know
the
for
municipal
Toronto.
act.
Yeah. Toronto has had that policy for like since David Miller, I think.
No, it's
Maybe
municipal. Like it's province wide. It's part of
is
the
it?
municipal act of Ontario. Yeah,
did
you
not know
can't. Yeah, you
I thought each
cannot.
municipality had their own policy.
No,
Wow.
no.
And
That's,
so, do they run deficits?
they? Well,
Because I know Toronto doesn't. Most
no.
of, from
Hamilton
what I-
doesn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why you see these crazy tax shifts and spikes and drops and freezes. And when we're arguing about police budgets, like I don't want to give them that much money, because if we give them that much money, it means we got to take it from somewhere else, or we got to raise taxes, right? So, yeah, I've just always found it funny the way our 3-tier government system works and what you're taught in school about it, and where you're supposed to put your importance, your level of importance. Like they're talking about allowing party affiliation now on municipal campaign signs.
Oh, that's the one of the best things about municipal
That's right.
elections.
You don't know who they are. You don't know what they're about until they go and realize that there's more money in running for the province or for the Fed, right? So then they do their 4 years here, and then they move along because they don't give a fuck about the job. They're actually just career politicians and waiting, right? So I don't know.
Spenny, I'm dying to know, what are your thoughts on municipal finance laws?
Sorry.
I've been very silent for a damn good reason. No, but I'm learning. I mean, I'm learning from you guys. It's funny because I haven't cracked one joke since I've been here. I haven't, I've just been whining and bitching and being angry.
Yeah, but we laugh at that too, so it's all good.
Oh, okay. Then this is a good appearance. I don't know. I don't know that much about it, to be perfectly honest.
It was
I never claimed to
semi-rhetorical.
be an expert. I'm a fan of politics, but not an expert.
Did you guys know that in Toronto, more than half of the budget comes from property taxes? It's like 53%.
Oh, it would make sense.
Yeah.
And religious groups are exempt from paying it, and it would equal like hundreds of millions of dollars or something a year.
Yeah.
Well, I've been against that from the moment I realized that they weren't paying tax.
You know what? I have to pay tax when I go to a strip club, and that's my form of entertainment. So if this is your form of entertainment, pay up, bitch. Let's go. Money on the table. You pay your taxes like I pay mine.
Strip club tax. Fuck.
You pay those. You pay the Niagara fee, because you're in Niagara Falls. You pay that tourist tax and everything.
If you don't believe in God, it feels like a just as plausible argument would be like, if it's a really good restaurant, you shouldn't have to pay property tax. Like, it makes about as much sense as that. It's like,
It really
no.
does.
You know?
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
I've always this was a meme a long time ago, but it always made me stop and think, and it's so true. If you want to know the state of where we are and our priorities, it's not about people. That's why we have to pay for parking at hospitals and not casinos.
Yeah. But the casino sometimes pays for the hospital,
Yep.
which is weird, eh?
That's usually the argument you get back.
The vice tax or whatever.
Doesn't help that person that's got a $30 a day bill because they're trying to fight cancer or something.
Why is the $30 a day bill person interested in what's going on with Kate Middleton? Brian, when you told me that today, I'm like, you're like, hey, let's talk about, let's dig in and whatever you said.
Yeah,
right?
you had no idea, did you?
I didn't fucking know it. I didn't think. Like, I'm like, okay, so I Googled Kate Middleton. Like, I just,
Spenny, are you following this at all? Like
a little bit, but I know you're anti-monarchy. I remember you speaking.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm vehement.
I don't know. She could be. I think she's getting plastic surgery. Personally, what do I know?
As Christopher Hitchens once said, the monarchy, you see, is a hereditary disease that can only be cured through fresh outbreaks of itself.
I have to say, having a blankie on a podcast is a very, very cool.
It's a shawl. How you doing,
Power
Ashley?
move. I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good.
Excellent.
You feeling better?
It's been an up and down week.
Yeah.
Well, I've still got my blankie, so I need the comfort, clearly.
Give me the ups.
We ran a March break camp at the school that I work at this week, so I was surrounded by adorable children all
give
week
me the
having
ups.
fun.
Exactly. I was
Yeah.
waiting for the ups.
I'm exhausted.
I'm not around them anymore, James. That's the up.
Ryan and I are hosting karaoke together tomorrow night, which is exciting.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an up. I have something to look forward to.
Where's that?
Just the little bar in town here where we live.
Yeah, the Bimberg Grill.
The Bimberg Grill.
Yeah.
It's going to be
It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna see how many F-bombs I can drop without getting in trouble.
I think Ryan knew that you guys were talking royalty, so he threw me in. I was just, I don't know. You started talking about that, and it was all of a sudden Ryan was eyeballing me, so I don't know. I actually had a meme ready for the moment. Not even a meme, but just like a thought. But two of the three most high-profile royal wives of our lifetime were pretty openly like, hey, marrying into this family is absolutely the most terrifying, fucked up, mental illness-inducing thing I could ever imagine. And now the third one hasn't been seen since Christmas.
Plus,
that's why I love Harry, because he just said, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out.
I'm out. Yeah.
I love how William is like imagine being Kate, because you're looking at William and 15 years ago or whatever, he was kind of dashing. And now he's slowly morphing into Prince Charles II. This comb over and all that shit. You know what I mean? He must be the sensible one. So he's all into pomp and tradition and still, by the way, I don't know what the controversy is. So she hasn't been seen. That's it.
Okay.
Or
So what?
photographs that were doctored that.
Yeah, I saw the doctor. They're like, the zipper's not aligned.
What
and the
happened?
sleeve
Okay.
goes
Yeah,
off.
there was a
And
lot
it's
of pretty janky stuff in that picture,
Yeah.
man.
Not even that. What happened is that she had abdominal surgery back in November or December, Christmas-ish time, and they said it was it was public, and it was a 6-week recovery time for it. So after the 6 weeks, nobody really paid attention. Then it was 8 weeks, and then it was a little more. And it's like, hey, where the fuck is she? And then the pressure got onto Buckingham Palace to say, oh, well, I guess we should probably put something out. So they put an absolutely horrible doctored photo of her out with her kids for Mother's Day, because Mother's Day is different in the UK. Yeah. And everybody's like, yeah, no, that's not you.
No.
That's not you at all. And then to retort that, instead of just ignoring the criticism, they made a tweet from her, from the whatever Duchess account, saying, I'm so sorry, my amateur Photoshop skills are not so great. It's like, yeah, because, bitch, you're the one that's sitting in front of a computer on your Adobe, photoshopping your own photos for media releases.
So sure.
Get out.
She literally said
understand
that she does.
But okay, it's my understanding that when you doctor a photo, you're doing it for a reason, or to hide something, or what. So are they saying that she wasn't actually in the photo at all, or that they altered the zipper and the sleeve and whatever? Is the whole thing fake?
The idea to me was like they took an existing picture of her sitting in a chair, and then they had like other pictures of the kids doing stuff that they just kind of like inserted around her to make it look like they were having this like delightful family moment.
What if it's really something personal, like the abdominal surgery gave her IBS and she's just really embarrassed and can't leave the house?
She's very farty.
You know what I
Got
mean?
a lot of farts.
Yeah. Like, what if it's that? This poor woman. Like, it must be really weird. As much as I hate the monarchy, it must be really weird to like watch millions of people pontificate about your well-being, you're just like, I just gotta shit all the time. Like, it's not. Leave me
It's
alone.
not weird, man. Don't make it weird.
Why are you guys making this weird? Yeah, no,
It's so weird.
I agree.
I've
Everybody
thought about Queen
poops.
Elizabeth having a bowel movement many times.
Yeah, haven't we all though?
Okay.
It's true.
Yeah.
And actually, I think there was a comedian at one point. He was on that Comedians in Cars with Jerry Seinfeld, and he said, and it was one of the best lines ever. He said, "I wonder if she's ever uttered, because they're in like that old castle, so you know they've got problems with plumbing." And he says, "I wonder if she's ever uttered the words like, 'Oh, you have to jiggle it, jiggle the handle a little more. Like it's a little old. It needs some jiggling.'" I've always wondered if she's ever had those moments where she breaks into, like, she had broken into those human moments, right? That's the only thing that's ever fascinated me about the monarchy, by the way, is when they're humans. Like Prince Andrew being a fucking pedophile fucking piece of shit. Perfect.
That's
Okay.
being a gross human. That's not
Tell
being a
me
human.
all about it, you piece of shit. And that was the Queen's favorite.
I used to like Harry until that fucking docuseries where it was basically, it should have been called Mansion Surfing.
His name is H. His name is H.
Whatever the fuck
H.
his name is.
Listen, the Buckingham Palace isn't supposed to be as nice as we think it is. And I know for a fact the Playboy Mansion was way out of date. It was dirty. It had cockroaches. People got Legionnaire disease in the grotto. Like all kinds of stuff went on.
24 Sussex
do
is
this.
like that too.
Hey, you can actually add my wife. I just realized
and
this.
I will.
Look at that.
Oh, no, now
Cool.
we are all here. Hi.
Ah.
James,
Yeah.
I gotta scram. My daughter's down here waiting for me.
Okay.
There.
Anyways,
Tell your daughter I say
he
what's
doesn't
up.
like it when I exit out. But
Hang on, before you do that
Okay.
though, tell me about your Patreon. I've been kind of like surfing around and reading, and the quality of the shit that you're putting out is fucking aces. Who's doing your stuff?
The music and a couple of the reaction videos that I've done. Shot a bunch of them. Is this guy in Chatham named Ben? I can't pronounce his last name, Sajarek or something, but he's awesome. He's amazing. But today I learned how to. There's a green screen right here. I learned how to work with iMovie, and I did a little video with my daughter and put background on it. So my goal is to do it myself, but unfortunately I have to pay for some of the content. I bought a selfie stick, which is incredible. It has a Bluetooth button on it, so I can, you know about this?
Actuate the camera? Yeah.
No, to stop and go. Maybe it does more, and I don't know. But
that's what I meant.
Patreon is delightful for a person like me because you have to understand. Most people, almost everybody, knows me from Kenny versus Spenny,
Of course.
and my personality was so, in a sense, trapped. I couldn't play music on that show. I couldn't talk politics on that show. I couldn't do anything but do the show, right? Kenny, because he was Kenny, he kind of did what he wanted to do, right? He was supposed to be competing, but he'd dress up a little mouse like the Wizard of Oz and do a little sketch. So this is an opportunity for me to do all kinds of stuff. Like I found a treasure trove of letters that I wrote when I lived in LA before Kenny versus Spenny was picked up, and then when we did the pilot. So I can put that on, just letters that I wrote. I can make
That's
videos.
awesome.
I can do music. So it's something Kenny's been doing. I'm always behind the times, but I'm really enjoying it.
It's awesome. Where can we find it?
Patreon.com /Spencer Spenny Rice, and it's like. The low, you can do it for free. You won't see everything, but you to get the goods, as they say, it's like $2 a month, and then I've got a $5 a month and a $15 a month.
What are the differences in the incentivization strategy between the levels?
They get to see more stuff, but
Perfect.
thank you. You put
You
it
get
so-
to see the finger actually go into the butthole if
Yeah.
you pay the $15.
Exactly,
I'll take the $2 one. Jesus.
Five's just around.
and move the bicycle.
Yes, right. Yes.
I don't joke. You know what?
I'll
But,
be.
look, it's it's a way. I have a daughter that's autistic, which is why I have to go. And it's very hard for me. I tour, but I can't go for more than a week at a time because my wife's got her own issues. Cancer survivor. She has chronic migraines.
Yeah.
So I can be at home a lot and do this, which
That's
is also
awesome.
just a positive thing to it. And I'll probably hate it in about 3 months. But right now I'm in the
The honeymoon.
honeymoon stage.
Yeah, I do the same thing. Like I release podcasts. I do about 10 episodes of them. I'm like, I'm fucking bored with this. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm gonna start a fight
That's the
with
thing,
a
though, on
co-host, so I
Patreon.
don't fucking be on that show anymore.
On Patreon, I do a bunch of different things. So it's not that I might get bored with the having to beg people to sign up part of it. That I don't like. But,
I know it feels shitty, eh? Like I've always said, it does feel weird, but at the same time, it's not. I don't think it's douchey at all. I think this is where we're moving.
But okay.
No, I think this is just where we're moving. I think this is the way it's
I feel
going.
bad for Spenny's daughter. Spenny, go.
Okay.
Yeah, true. I won't keep you.
See all
All
you guys.
Thanks for coming,
Good to
buddy.
see
I
you,
put the
pal.
link. I put the link to your Patreon in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
All right, buddy. Cheers.
Thanks, man. And we got a shot of his dick on his way out. That was great.
Okay.
He just
Nice.
pulled the
Patreon
camera
numbers
down.
just went down. Just kidding.
You're getting it free on Blackballed.
Yeah, that's right. Don't say I don't do anything for you, Spenny.
Right.
Ashley,
Yes.
do you want to be here?
Yeah, I'm just chilling.
Okay. No, I'm not
She's
saying. I'm not
texting.
suggesting
She's
you
texting
don't.
somebody. I can see the
My
blue.
mommy.
Is it your mom?
I used to hate it when Lachlan did that. I used to hate it when anyone did
It's
that. When
my
they sat
mommy.
there when they sat there like this, like when you're when someone was talking. Just like no.
Mommy.
And I know most people listen, so they would never know. But I was just like, "Urgh."
I was gonna say, you know what? And if anybody in the chat wants to come on, but they don't want to like go on camera and stuff, shoot me a DM with your number. I can actually pipe you through the board on the phone. If you want to, like, shoot me on Twitter or on Facebook, and we'll put you up as a phone caller.
Okay.
I'm not giving you my phone number, but
Now, I was
Why
going to
not?
because I wasn't going to
guy.
go that long tonight, and I saw something in the chat about people wanting to come on, but I missed it. What's going on?
I don't know.
Maybe someone wants to say something again because I don't know. I think it might have been Bridget. Here, I'll just put. I don't care. It's fucking. Remember this? Remember the old school days?
well, yeah,
When I used
if
to
they
just,
want to
like,
click on
invite
it, yeah.
Anyone in?
Yeah.
And
But
I had that rule where I reserved the right to just eject anyone I wanted for any reason I wanted. And then that guy got mad at me. Do you remember?
Yeah.
He got so mad at me. And you were livid. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
You could redo the show that you did with Bridget tonight if you want, but like stone cold sober, because you're a hell of a lot more sober now than you were for that show. Can we talk about that show there, fella?
I had a stroke. Thank you very much. I don't
yeah,
know what
you
you're
sure
talking
did.
about.
That was quite the TIA.
It was because I had an empty stomach. I didn't realize it until afterwards. And I was like, oh my God.
Did you? Because I know you're like, I'll re-listen to certain podcasts just to see how things went. Did you re-listen to that one or no?
I did a little bit, and I just thought it was funny, and I moved on. Like
It was really funny.
Like I
I
can't.
fucking loved it.
I'm not the type of person to erase content, even if I look bad.
You were
I think
you were in your "I love you, man" phase
totally
for that show. It was
I
great.
totally was.
Yeah, it was pretty.
And
good.
I even got emotional for a second too, talking about my son and stuff. I don't know if you listened to the whole thing, but it was 3 hours.
No, I didn't. No, I couldn't get through the whole thing.
Yeah, I should have
to get
called it
emotional
Casual
about.
Friday this episode.
I put it like I just kept I kept scrolling it just to watch watch you degrade. It was so good. By the end of the show, it was fucking brilliant.
You gotta
I think
own
at
your
one
shit.
point I did say he doesn't even know what time it is.
Yeah, I didn't know what day it was at that one point. I was just because I was sitting there, I was like, "Holy shit!" And I would try to hold it together. I'd be like, "Yeah, we're."
It was so good. It was the face,
I
and it
need a
was
snack.
one of these. You'd lean back like you were laughing, and then you'd come back, but then you could tell you knew you came back too far, and you had to come back a bit. It was art.
Yeah. I made that trout. I took a picture. I'll have to email it to myself. The picture sucks. It looks shiny or something. It looks weird. But I started getting all this conflicting information about cooking because I didn't have tinfoil. And I normally would just wrap it with some sliced cherry tomatoes, a sprig of thyme, some garlic and whatever, and butter maybe, and then just put it in tinfoil. Trout
That's just
specifically.
Just poaching it in butter poached.
Yeah, basically, or just whatever. And this time it was like I saw one recipe that
call it.
was like flesh down first,
Steamer.
then skin down. And then someone else is like, no, skin
me.
down all the time. And whatever. And I ended up putting skin down all the time because I didn't want it to break. And then I put a little bit of broth in the pan after like 5 minutes, and then I put
Yeah.
a lid on it and just let it steam. And that's what I did. And it was okay.
You got
Wasn't the
a
greatest.
pan fry, high heat, get that skin crispy, give it a little score, a little bit of,
Yeah.
You run a knife. Obviously, you've scaled it, but you're going to run a knife just to try and get rid of the goo before before it hits the pan, and then that way that skin gets crispy.
Yeah.
And then you're wait till it's 140 degrees and you're good to go.
See, I think you're both wrong.
Oh,
I think that the best way to do it is to either not bring it home to begin with or chuck it in the fucking garbage once it gets there.
Yeah. Ashley's not a seafood person at all.
Oh, no.
Or fish. Yeah,
Sounds terrible.
Really? Was it the smell? Do you just think everything has a fishy smell, or?
Yeah, that's a good start.
You know what?
It's a texture thing too for you.
Have you ever had baked cod? Because you don't have any fishy smell.
There's so many. Like there's
that sounds really terrible, actually.
Mahi.
Oh my God,
yeah, mahi is another fish that it's got a consistency of a pork chop because it's so tough.
Doesn't sound appealing.
Every time somebody makes something different, I will try it. Like I'm not an idiot. It's like, okay, I haven't had this before. Obviously, I have to give it a chance. And no, every time if it came out of the water, it does not go in here. It's not a thing.
So no shell food either.
No.
Well, she'll do shrimp every once in a while.
Shrimp, yeah.
I don't like restaurants that don't devein their shrimp and leave the eyeballs on them and shit.
Yeah, it's disgusting. It has. It has.
I don't even know how to eat it.
It has to be cold as well. Like if
she needs a shrimp ring.
Once it's hot, it's disgusting.
She needs a shrimp ring that comes out of a freezer from a grocery store.
That's the most I can possibly
with
muster.
like doctored up cocktail sauce. Like we always add more horseradish to our cocktail sauce whenever we buy it, right? So then Ashley's in for like 3 or 4, and then that's it, right? But other than that, she won't touch fish. But if I make something for me, she will try it, and she'd be like, "Eh."
I wish.
There's so many that we were right on the cusp, so I'm trying to find that perfect fish.
It's not a thing.
Because I love fish.
It's not a thing.
No, she's. It's been 8 years now, and I haven't found one yet. So
in the water.
But there's such a range of textures too. Like I'm the king at ordering calamari, thinking it's going to be nice, grilled, tossed in like a marinara with fennel seed and peppercorn and whatever else, and it's just like deep fried with your stupid mayo fucking bullshit. And I'm just like, I hate deep fried calamari. But the grilled stuff, if you do it right, the grilled is amazing. It can be tender, ladies and gentlemen. I know you might not believe so.
Yeah, best one I've ever had was at a place in Toronto called Grano, and it's on Yonge Street. I think it's still around, and it was served grilled but lightly dusted. But spicy. It was like a calamari al diavolo, like almost like they do, and like it was with like chili oil over the top, and it was on a bed of cabbage with a balsamic reduction across the top of it with the cherry tomatoes and the peppers and everything else. And that was the appetizer. When it came to ordering for a main course, I ordered that again because it was so goddamn good.
Wow.
And a thing of bread because it was so damn good. And I swear, if that's still a thing, I'm going again because it was one of my most favorite Italian restaurant experiences. I won't go to an Italian restaurant. I just don't. We have a really good one here in town, like in Hamilton, and they make good stuff. But I have this weird thing about, because I grew up poor. Right, like my I grew up with a single mom. We didn't have any money, so pasta was always a thing. And my mom was a great cook, so we would have pasta nights. But they were, even though costing almost nothing, they tasted really good.
Yeah,
and we would do not just red sauce. My mom would make like a bacon carbonara, or she'd make a penne alla vodka. Like she'd make real good stuff cheaply, and the problem going in my brain is now that I'm in a position that I don't have to live like that unless I choose to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want it any. Like, I can't bring myself to spend $23 on a pasta dish I know I can make for $3.60 at home. You know, like it drives me nuts, and I know my mom would kill me.
Whenever I go to an Italian restaurant, I never order pasta.
No, neither do I.
I order meatballs because I like to know if the kitchen can do a meatball competently, then I have more confidence in the rest of the menu.
I'll come back.
That's great. Actually, that's a great benchmark for any Italian restaurant. Is what they do with seafood and what they do with meatballs. You're absolutely right.
That's true. Welcome, Bridget Mallon, to the show. Mademoiselle Fox to the show. What does that mean? Are you Samantha Fox? I didn't know that. You could be Samantha Fox's bastard.
I wish.
Are you guys at the pub already? Paul sent me a link for the pub. cast.
Where are you?
We're just we're at his apartment and just
He's trying to
include
fake
everybody.
people out.
Yeah, like no,
Oh.
we're just like sit and chill tonight with the big fat dog, and now we're
You guys
gonna
live
talk
in.
about
It looks like you guys live in like a.
That's a
I
green
don't know what
screen.
that would be. What would that be? Like a
castle.
like like some
No,
sort
a pub.
of
It looks like you're living in a pub.
Well, we're not.
like
We're at-
a steampunk burlesque house or something.
Yeah,
Like-
no, that's James. How did you know that's exactly where we are? No, we're at Paul's apartment. He's on the couch. He's like, I wish you would stop talking. And I'm like, well, maybe I can get on the podcast then. No, he's
Put me in front of a mic then instead.
And I just, thanks for bringing me in. And Ashley, I just wanted to say, like, how are you like, what do you like? I'm not going to ask you what you have, but like, how long have you been sick, and are you getting better?
Oh, I've just been sick off and on since January. I work with kids and they're like little petri dishes. So if they have something and I give them a hug, I get it. So I've had like strep, an ear infection. I had COVID. I had pink eye. I had a stomach bug. And this past week, I just had a wicked head cold.
What, maybe
So
some
it's just-
RSV or herpes? in
Well,
there too?
right. Like, so I think
Throw it in.
The first thing I got was COVID. Like, right. It was actually New Year's Day. So January 1st,
Yeah.
I got smoked with COVID. And I think my immune system's just been a little bit whacked since then. And then being
Yeah.
with the kids isn't helping. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just every time I get back up, I get smashed down again. And I'm like, I'm so tired. so I'm coming back. I'm all right.
And yet
How are
here
you guys
are.
feeling? You guys were down and out there for a bit.
Yeah, I'm perfect now.
How about
I'm not-
Polly? How's Polly feeling?
He's really tired because I somehow talked him into this dog. So and he's like, I don't know why I'm so fucking tired. I'm like, well, you work 80 hours a week, and
That'll do it.
you've taken in, and he was so sick, and I'm like, and you have now 2 queens in the house.
Yeah, the estrogen is taking over.
He's just like, I'm like, I don't know why I'm so tired. I'm like, well, I think I do.
Wait,
That's my dears.
how does that work? Do dogs have estrogen and testosterone just like us? I guess so, eh?
Honestly, I don't know. All I know is, I'm going to show you this, and I just want to say, like, I'm not complaining. I'm not in pain. But this is the bruise. This is the status of the bruise from the dog. It's the ugliest friggin' bruise I've ever
Ooh,
had.
What did the dog do?
Well,
like a
so,
pull and a a
well,
drag?
I know some of the people, some of the folks know all this story, but so she's just been out of shelter for a week,
Mhm.
and Paul, was super gracious to let me bring her here, and then we both got sick, and I couldn't leave, and so she got really comfortable here. So I was walking her down the street, and I had been walking her for like 4 days in a row. I did everything the shelter said, and on muzzle, on a leash, and I'm like
Mhm.
very, very alpha with her. And then she just bolted after a small dog, and she dragged me down the street. So,
Oh God.
but yeah, she's something. And Cassie and I have had a great chat about this, and I'm like, like, I'm fine. I didn't have to go to the hospital. Like, ultimately, nobody was physically injured.
Mhm.
But it's just a great reminder that animals are wild, and they can hurt you, and they don't mean to. So, but anyway, Paul's been doing an awesome job with her, because I was just like, I can't walk her right now, because it's not safe for me or for other people and animals.
Yeah.
But today, if you want a little story, there's this Paul's building supervisor. His name's Fern, and he is awesome. He's from Capscasing, and his dad was a dog breeder and a dog trainer. And Fern is like 250 pounds of awesome, gentle giant. And he loves Lola. He's like, she's so beautiful and she's so good, and she already listens to you. So I said, when I saw him this morning, and he's like, I haven't seen you with Lola. I'm like, it's because I can't walk her, and I'm keeping her in the apartment, and Paul's only taking her out. And I said, is it okay if we come down to the office and have a visit? And he's like, absolutely. So I took her. I managed to get her down the elevator without her like doing anything naughty. And then we went to visit with Fern, and he's like, I really need to go out for a smoke, and you want to bring her out? And I'm like, I will, but would you take her? Like, you hold the leash. And he's like, absolutely. And I'm like, and actually, she
But
makes
why
me wanna think of
Mademoiselle
smoking.
Fox?
Okay, squirrel. Anyway, I'm just saying I got some really good dog training tips from Fern that are really working. Like, he's just like, he is fucking amazing. Why Mademoiselle Fox?
Yes.
I don't know how that
We have to
came.
kick this podcast up a notch a little bit. Like, what? Like, was that a random thought? Is that what people call you? Are you a burlesque
Well,
dancer? Or
oh, if you want to go there, sir.
I just did.
I don't honestly. I think it was. I might have been Douglas who came up with the. I think it was Douglas who came up with the name. Thanks, Lizzie. This is the truth, and
No talking to the chat. No talking to the chat. Only I may talk to the chat by doing this. See, watch.
All right, Mr. Bossy James
That's right.
DeFiore,
That's
Mr.
right.
Blackball.
That's
I
right.
did have
Don't get distracted by the chat. Oh, hi, Saucy. Like most people are listening, so they have no idea what you're talking about when you do that.
All right.
I love you.
I love you too. Now I'm going to tell you my sexy dancing story if you want
Yes.
it. So, I had two great aunties who were from North Bay in Ontario, and they somehow they ended up joining the Ringlings circus in Florida.
This does sound like a good story. Please go
Yeah.
on.
So my great auntie May was an elephant. She was a toe dancer, like when they dance with elephants.
Oh.
Yeah. Like she would get on an elephant and do all the tricks and stuff.
They couldn't
And
do that with camels because there'd be just too many jokes.
I asked my mom, I'm like, I actually have a picture. I will send it if no one believes me. But I said to my mom, I'm like, when I moved into my new home, I'm like, the only thing I want is a picture of great auntie May with an elephant. And she's like, I got you. And then great auntie May also danced in France at the what's that place? The Moulin Rouge. She danced topless.
You know, anytime there's a stripper over 40, they actually call it the camel toe dancer. What?
Ashley, do we believe this?
Can you what? What?
I was just asking Ashley if this is true.
Okay. Ashley? Oh, she's not. She's muted. Ryan muted her. You're muted, Ashley.
Ryan, you should not do that to your lady.
You're just sitting there, just saying stuff, not knowing what's going on. Okay. I would like to know. It's very difficult to get a big dog from a shelter, by the way.
Yep.
My ex and I, we had a neighbor when we lived in Toronto who it was a pit bull, and this pit bull went after a neighbor's kid, and the mom put herself in between, and the dog bit her ass, and everything like that, and it was just this horrible thing. And it could be sweet. It was sweet on occasion, but it was dangerous as fuck. Like, it could snap at any moment. So it could be a little, I don't know. Rescue dogs are better when they're puppies. I know that sounds awful. Like, you don't want to be the last kid adopted when you're like, or not get adopted and leave the orphanage a bastard, right? You don't want to do that.
I mean, I can answer the question about the screening process if you like. I applied to the Ottawa Humane Society, and I said, I'd be very happy to take an old dog that's going to kick it in like 3 years, like 3 legs. That's probably what I can handle. And one of my kids was like, saw Lola, and she was like, I think this is the dog that we should get. And so the Humane Society said, I put in my application. I answered all of the questions about my situation, my home situation, what behaviors I would be okay with or not okay with. And they're like, do you want to come and visit her? And I was like, yeah. So I'm like, I'll come visit her. And they screened me through, and they're like, we think Lola would be a great match for you. She's super calm. And she's a good girl and healthy. She's very healthy. And so I went to go visit her, and she was just so so sad and so excited and under control. Like, but she was just like, and I'm just like, they're like, I Ubered over there because I don't have a car anymore. And they said, do you want to take her home like next week? I'm like, next week or tonight? And I said, you know what? I need to take a beat and I need to call Paul and I need to think this through and I need to take her for a walk.
Oh, Bridget, do your Paul impersonation. It's the greatest.
Okay, so I called him and I'm like, babe, you know, we talked about, you know where I am right now and then I'd call you. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, this is a dog and she's beautiful and she's healthy and, you know, you already looked at all the information. He's like, mm-hmm. And I'm like, they said I could take her home tonight and that would mean I have to bring her to you. And he's like, just bring her. Bring that dog home. So that's how it.
Bring that dog home. Like sometimes you do a Paul impersonation and I just like shit myself. Like and then I was gonna take her to lunch, but I went to the pub instead. Like I'm just like
He's like I'm like, I didn't know this was gonna happen so quickly, but I went through a proper screening process. I've really thought about this and I feel like, you know, I can take on the responsibility. This is my responsibility. It's not yours. And then we get Lola and you know, she's going through her adjustment. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think I can. I know I can't handle this on my own. Like, this is ridiculous, you know? And I'm like, I think we're going to have to, I will not take her back to the shelter. Even though I believe the Ottawa Humane Society has a no-kill policy. But I'm like, I think we need to rehome her because I can't do this.
Even the Ottawa prison doesn't have a no-kill policy. Sorry.
Well,
I'm not making light of anyone that's died.
Oh, it's because he did that.
Yeah.
And this is my last Paul impersonation. And he's like, so he's gone all alpha on Lola and he's, you know, Paul is a sweetheart, but he's also gone alpha on me. And he's like, she's not going anywhere. She lives here now. And that's the end of the discussion. And I'm like, okay.
Well, you have a dog, don't you, Ryan?
Oh yeah, yeah. What happened?
James, you muted me, actually.
Yeah,
I didn't mute you.
Yeah,
Ryan
if you
and I
turn a
are
camera,
still
if you
live.
turn one of the split cameras off, it mutes the whole thing. So
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know that.
We're one person.
the audio actually comes through mine. So
I thought you guys were connected. I thought you were one.
But yes, we have a doggo.
yeah,
Is it
Charlie.
a Labradoodle? What is it?
No, he's a Cocker Spaniel.
Oh, okay. He seems to have curly. Does he have curly hair? Am I
He's very
misremembering?
curly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can
very
I catch a
curly.
frisbee? I feel like you're a dog when you can catch a frisbee.
You can catch a lot of stuff. He's pretty handy.
Yeah.
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 Mostly food.
I had a
Likes
cat.
food.
I had a cat once, a Russian blue.
Eh.
Sorry, I know I'm squirrely right now, but I had a cat, a Russian blue once, that I could throw a paper ball over its head, and he would jump, catch in his hand, put in his mouth, and land. And that was our game. And he was an awesome cat.
Charlie likes balloons. He likes
Yeah,
to play with balloons.
Charlie will play balloon tennis. Like he'll bounce it back and forth to you on his nose.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, I
that's
taught him that.
He should join Aunt May at the Ringling Circus,
Yeah.
or whoever that was.
Oh no, you nailed it.
Okay.
I'm like, that's why I'm a super good dancer. Like, it's in my blood. Honestly.
Can you give us a demonstration of your super dancing?
Is it like Elaine?
Is
That's
it the white girl
that's
dance?
good. That's
Ashley
good
does
dancing.
a good white girl dance.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I took jazz in when I was younger in Kitchener-Waterloo. So I can do jazz dancing, but I can also dance like a Kingston stripper.
I like how immediately jazz hands came out though.
Yeah.
You were like jazz. Because you couldn't say jazz without jazz. That was great.
Your background could be confused as a Kingston strip club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I mean,
A jazzy Kingston strip club.
thank you very much. Yeah,
The dimpled leather lounge is what I'm looking for.
I don't know what that is, but I'm like,
Those dimples didn't get there on their own.
I can,
That's right.
I don't,
Did it say glory hole? Oh, okay.
I don't,
It's a lot
let
of
me,
holes.
I'll try to get Lola in.
Moisture-induced dimpling.
I can't pole dance. I don't know if anyone else out there can.
That's a sport.
It's so
That's a damn
athletic.
sport now. Okay, people are doing it for fitness pole, and it is so cool.
I
And
think
your
we
name would be
can-
Mademoiselle Candy, not Fox, if you could pull down.
Gentlemen,
Well-
put your hands together for somebody else's daughter.
No, it's like
The strip
it'd be
club
like one
DJ
of
is
those
the greatest.
Facebook
It's like one
posts.
guy that they cloned.
I love every strip club DJ is my favorite DJ. They should put every strip club DJ on the radio. Remember they did that in, was it Kingston? They had that strip club radio? That radio station that went like all like strip club.
Just play Pour Some Sugar on Me 16 times
We
a day.
featured it on the Blundell show when I was co-hosting there. What the hell was it called? And it was literally a strip club. Maybe somebody in the comments, I don't want to Google while I'm on the show, but if somebody in the comments remembers that from the Dean Blundell show, we talked about them a few times. It was like Kingston or like the Schwiggity or somewhere in the eastern corridor of the 401.
Is that the
had
straw?
a-
Is that what you meant?
It was called the Pole. That's what it was. It was actually called the Pole. I remember it
that's
now.
a good
You
name.
remember that?
No.
Oh, yeah. It was. I thought it was such a great idea, and all they did was play like strip club bangers. You know, like those ballads that strippers would always bring the big fuzzy blanket out for.
I have no idea.
No.
Ryan, I have no freaking idea.
Yeah, no
You've
idea.
never been in a strip club, Bridget? I don't believe that.
I've seen a few, but I've never seen the blanket come out.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
You.
Oh,
You
the,
s- you-
the towel that they tie into the.
What?
Yeah, they do this weird
Into the
thing.
where?
It's like it's an explicit clown doing a animal balloon for a kid,
Zoop,
except it's a stripper finagling a towel into like a penis for. And,
Oh, no.
And they do
What?
it with their t-shirts sometimes. They'll take
Oh,
their t-shirts
no.
off them and do it with that. So,
There it is. 102.7 The Pole in Kingston, Ontario.
wow.
Yeah. It was called The Pole, 102.7. And they said, what happened? Less than 3 weeks after launching as a stunt format, 102.7 The Pole, border station WLYK-FM is moving forward as Kingston's feel-good radio station.
You know, as long as we're talking about strippers and having fun, let's play
Oh.
the classic Facebook game.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
in the comments, you can play along. Your stripper name is the color of your T-shirt and the last thing that you ate.
That's not it. That's not it. It's the name of your first pet and the first street you grew up on.
We're
That's
changing
the
it up.
porn
There's
name.
tons of different ones.
Oh, that's a porn
I
name,
think
okay.
No, the
You're
porn
right.
the
He's
porn
in
name
charge
is your
at this
middle
point.
name in the street you grew up on. That's why
Well-
my official porn name, other than shout out to Cassie Lake, who has now said the Pole is my porn name. But my official porn name, which I always thought it was your middle name and your street you grew up on, would be Junior Bannerman.
Your middle name is Junior?
No, but I don't have a middle name, but I'm James
Oh.
Junior, so I just use that.
Mine was the first pet, so it was Pitsy Bellingham.
Shit, mine would be Misty Bannerman.
Well, oh, sorry. What's the rule? What's the rule again?
It's your first pet that you can remember, the name of your first pet and the first street that you lived on.
Oh, Misty
Okay,
Bannerman.
well, mine is Bentley Piccadilly.
That's the greatest
We had a
one yet.
Piccadilly in Hamilton. There was a strip club named the Piccadilly. We call it a Piccadisease.
I would be
That's
Sadie.
you went there.
I'd be Sadie Andrew.
Sadie Andrew.
Yeah.
See, we both have like these weird gender bending names. Like Misty Renfield is really what mine is. Like, I didn't know I was a drag queen, but I guess that I have to go in that direction now.
I feel like my own personal name is probably really good because my name is Bridget Jane Mallon. So I'm like BJ Malone.
Oh yeah, yeah. That would work.
I don't have good initials. It's like
You'd have to learn
BJ.
how to dance to the Magnum PI theme song with a name like that, though. I think.
Oh my god, Like that?
You're right. Yeah, yeah, just like that. You're
Is that-
churning butter.
The shoulders into it, you know?
Get your back into it.
If you're really into Mennonite dancing, I'll churn your butter. Woo!
Living in an Amish paradise.
Yeah.
What are there any good ones in there? Buttons Bidford. I see Sherry Done Vegan.
Oh,
Done
come on.
Vegan.
This
That's
can't
one
be
hell.
right.
That's made up.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
fake
This
news.
can't look at One-Eyed Willie Mowat.
Leanne,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
hot. Oh, sorry. I know I'm not allowed to look at the chat, but
Jake
I'm allowed
Fricks
to
says
look at the chat.
blue salad. Oh, that was for the name and what you ate. That was
Oh,
I'd
the
be the
shirt
purple
color and what
pizza.
you ate. Mine would be gray trout. Like that's not.
I would pay to. I would pay to see Buttons Bitford, Cassie Lake.
Polly's.
Right.
Polly's is good too. His is Lucky Beaver.
All I know is that. So I really have never been to a strip bar, but when I drive through rural Quebec, and they have signs out, and it's like there's a lot of strip bars in Quebec, right? And it's like oui. Bonjour, Quebec sexy lady and buffet $5.95.
Tabber, what?
I'm like, well, I hope it's a good lunch. Like,
What?
it's pretty cheap.
That's why they call it Quebexico.
Yeah,
my
like-
favorite. It's my favorite sign. And it was
Oh
so
my
overdone in like the 80s and 90s, but it was so good. It was when a strip club would put up, we've got 10 good looking women and one ugly one. I would totally go to that one. I would, because you want to know who's the ugly one that you're talking about.
What is that? I don't know if Ryan, if it was you or someone else that said that or maybe it was a meme that I saw that it was like it was a gangbang joke. It was something like, in a gangbang, if it's 10 on one, or 10, or if it's a gangbang with 10 guys, at least 10 people are having fun. So it's,
That's right. Like if you're working on averages, I'm sorry, but you've pleased an entire group at that point.
A 93% success rate is pretty fucking good.
It's pretty gim. And if I was to bring that KPI into one of my board meetings, I would be like, this is amazing. Ryan gets another raise.
Sorry about your luck, Stan, but the rest of us are doing just fine.
Okay, that's disgusting. May I just say, as the fox, one of the foxes in this.
Oh,
She'll be back.
okay. As long as you're not just gonna do that.
We can't. No, I'm not going to do that forever. But we can't just be calling each other. This is a friendly show. We are friendly to each other.
What? What did you say?
Yeah, well, nobody said it. She
called
didn't
us
say anything bad.
disgusting.
Oh yeah, okay. So what? We are disgusting.
Damn it.
I don't think so. Most of the time.
I'm pretty
okay,
gross.
Fine. Come back.
We don't have strip clubs in Hamilton anymore. They actually they made a bylaw that as the licenses died off, they wouldn't reissue them. So as people closed their bars, and COVID was like the nail, right? And COVID like just wiped them right out. And now we won't renew it. So if you want to go to a strip club here, you have to like drive to Burlington.
Which is like 20 minutes that way. So.
Fuck, that's such bullshit. Imagine saying that.
Yeah, imagine going to a council meeting as a delegate. I'd like to speak on this issue. You come in your track pants and your fucking and your sweater that just says like party guy. But those are the sweatpants you wear to the strip club, so you get more contact, right? So you wear those in particular.
Imagine being the type of businessman or whatever that would take a client to like a strip bar for a lunch meeting,
It's like, gotta be a really nice one.
There are people like that. And
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just don't think you mix strip clubs with food. It just, even though that
Yes.
it just seems wrong, like it's not conducive with health.
Plus, I don't know of any girl, no matter what you're getting paid for those private dances, that wants to go in the private room after some guy's been eating spicy chicken wings. Okay, like that's gonna make for that's a night ruiner, I think, for somebody that's paying for the VIP dance.
Yeah. I wonder when smartphones first came out. I used to say this joke, but it never landed right. But sometimes it did. I can't remember where this won't land right either. But when smartphones first came out,
right.
I felt like chicken wing sales plummeted because you can't have both. Right?
That's true.
You're constantly touching your screen. And honestly, I didn't get a smartphone until I was
That was the rise of boneless wings.
Yeah.
That's right. You can eat it with a
Just
fork
grab them with one hand.
or a fork. Yeah.
2013 is when I got a smartphone.
Ryan and I had boneless wings tonight.
Really?
Yeah, we did actually.
Did you eat them with toothpicks or little cocktail forks?
I ate them with my hands like an animal.
Okay.
I ate them with a fork like a distinguished gentleman that I am.
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened, actually.
It's true.
Yeah.
There's people that cut their candy bars.
Yeah, that's a whole episode of Seinfeld.
I don't
get
that.
Eating the Smarties with the spoon.
I've seen it. I saw it in Houston.
I grew up
which
with
is a weird place to see it.
I grew up
it
with
is a weird
neighbors
place.
where if you ever came over for like a Saturday night pizza night, they would put out like cutlery, and the dad would actually be like cutting his pizza, and he'd make you feel awkward, like you were supposed to cut your pizza with a knife and a fork. That was fucked up.
Those trendy restaurants that do like that kind of pizza, like the stone-fired pizza that you actually do need a knife and fork. I kind of get that, but if I ever see someone eating like a New York style regular slice of pizza with a knife and fork, I just like, Jon Stewart has that cool rant about
Chicago
gotta,
style.
like, yeah, when he hates because he hates Chicago style
Yeah.
pizza.
I don't like
What
it
do you want?
either.
Do you want to fucking eat a pizza or take a goddamn bath? Like,
Yeah, it's not my thing either. I don't understand that. Like, why?
I don't call it.
I don't know.
I like it. I just don't. I don't classify it. If I'm in the mood for pizza, like we were tonight, we got pizza. But if I'm in the mood for a deep dish, I'll get a deep dish. I think
speaking
it's
of
different.
dish, let's welcome back to the show, Bridget Mel.
That's nice.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. We were just having a discussion, and I'm like, well, I'm like talking, and Paul's like, well, I think he booted you out, and I'm like, I don't think he did.
Oh, don't be so dramatic. I do it for comedy. I don't do it because I hate people. Jesus, I
No.
haven't even done it in like a
Yeah,
year and a
he
half.
muted
Like,
me entirely.
Really?
That's
Yeah, he just let me sit there like a jackass earlier. Yeah, James is special.
That's some jackassery, man.
I'm
Jack-
not-
it's
well, tell me how
jackassery
special I am. I want to know how
To the
special I am.
nth degree. And I'm sick of your shit, James.
I
A
was
lot of
just
people
like,
are.
I was just like, well,
Get in
should I
line.
just go to bed? Like, I don't know. I think he kicked me out, and Paul's like, no, I don't think he did. I don't know.
I think James underestimates how close to bedtime we all truly are here.
Mm-hmm.
How close to
yeah.
bedtime?
I was off today, so I don't know what you guys are on about.
That's true. Ryan had a pimp day, and he made a pie yesterday that tastes like fucking Fruit Loops.
I made a key lime pie yesterday for Pie Day.
Oh,
Not a key selling point for me, but go on.
314, and it was key lime, and I used actual key limes, and they were so sweet. Like they were such like. If you like food, like I like food, you notice these little things, right? It's like not a normal lime. A key lime is always a little sweeter, but these ones were just
and they're little.
so good. And
That's
I made this pie. I've made key lime pie before. I made the graham cracker crust, and it was perfect. Everything was great. It came out. It looked delicious. It looked perfect. We bit into it. Well, I bit into it first. And I'm like, oh my god! And Ashley hadn't eaten hers yet, and I said, I need you to tell me what you think it is, flavor wise.
Yep.
And then we realized that Fruit Loops are just lime,
Yeah.
Oh,
sweet lime, and that's
And
all we could
food
taste was
coloring.
Fruit Loops. It was so good.
Yep.
oh, it was good.
He said,
Oh, I
need
thought
to
you guys.
tell
were
me
what
like,
it
like, tastes
oh, I was
like.
really disappointed because I hate.
No, I was shocked. I was shocked how good it. And that initial flavor thing goes away, and then the key lime, like the lime thing, takes over, and it's
Oh,
fine.
it's
but
beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah,
I made
the
my own
minute
whipped
it hit,
cream and
though, I
stuff,
was
too.
like, oh my god, it's Fruit Loops. Like,
it was so
Yeah,
good.
I get the
Bam.
same feeling when you say that as if someone were to say, "Man, I made pumpkin pie. Tasted just like Raisin Bran. It was fucking awesome."
Yeah.
no,
It's
eat
good.
Fruit Loops again, and you'll be like, oh shit, no, that makes sense. Like it's
I could see that. Yeah.
I
That
have
doesn't-
something.
I do love Fruit Loops. I'm not gonna lie, and you know, I
Well, and
live
then-
in the go.
So, the graham cracker crust. It's like you're eating like a smashed up Fruit Loop. Like it adds the texture of the cereal almost to it. I can't explain it.
Yeah.
It's magic.
You know
was
what?
really
That makes
good.
total sense to me. And in my neighborhood, there's this really bougie donut shop. It's called Susie Q, and they're really good. But it's like $4 a donut. Or
We have one of
something,
those too. Donut Monster.
right? And people line up, and I'm like, I'm not fucking lining up for a donut. And
No.
I'm like, you know what? You can do is like, you can go to Giant Tiger, and you can get some glazed donuts. You can get some Fruit Loops and smash them up and put them
Can-
on the donut. I'm like, it tastes the same.
There's a
You
place.
can
called-
make a
in
little
Whitby.
stand out front of your house and sell them for $4 like a dick.
Yeah, there you go.
Only if you get a permit.
That's right.
Only till the Popo show, then you just pick your shit up and run.
Or you just give them
Like,
donuts.
Yeah.
Nothing-
Oh.
there's-
Yeah. The
There's
cops
no,
are
I'm
there.
like, or do you want a donut? I'm like, there's
Yeah, that's
nothing
right.
to see here.
You
I'm
didn't
like,
see
"I want
nothing.
a donut.
Yes, sir, Mr. DeFiore, sir.
This one's got Oreo cookies.
It's like that. It's like that scene out of a Bronx Tale when they're giving the cops the cartons of cigarettes. He's just
Yeah.
giving them boxes of donuts.
I was thinking of the scene in Carlito's Way
Yeah.
when he walks and goes and sits down in front of Sean Penn at the jail. He's like, "Take a hike, Vinny." Yes, sir. Right away, sir, Mr. Tagliucci, or whatever his name was, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure who. I'm sorry, James. But somebody brought up Ponderosa. All this is making me hungry, but Ponderosa was like super fancy to me. Like
Back in the day. Yeah.
I
It's a
love
nudist colony.
there, and I'm like,
She's not talking about the steak. She's talking about
No.
the nudist colony.
I think
All
it's
I
called
knew
Four
was-
Seasons now,
I'm
isn't
like,
it?
I'm like, there's a buffet, and you can pick whatever you want and put it. You can have potatoes and salad and meat and all the things. And I loved Ponderosa. I absolutely loved Ponderosa. I really was like grateful to go. And I'm just like, oh God,
I was too back in the day.
right? Like,
I
But-
felt like every steak there was a
Wow.
Salisbury steak for some reason.
Well, you know what? I went to the Buffalo Auto Show, and this was about 10 years ago, because we don't have the Ponderosa's gone in Canada, right? So the only time you can get it is if you go across the border. So my friend Paul and I went to the auto show with the intent. That was the secondary action for the day. We were going to Ponderosa, but we'll check the auto show out at Buffalo at the same time, right? Because we were so excited, because as kids, you're right, this is what we grew up with. As if you went out for a fun, special meal, you went to Ponderosa.
Like if you've been out for a meal, right? And we're just like,
Oh God, is it ever fucking? It's garbage. It is the worst food.
It's the
Like,
Olive Garden
and I
of
can-
steakhouses.
right?
It's
And
like, why?
I think that's generous.
I'm not being
awful.
a pretentious cock
No,
when I
I
say
know.
this. Okay, I'm not being a douchebag, but when they brought, because you have to order your steak separate. You get your buffet and then you order your steak, whatever. So we ordered ribeyes and like the nice, good cuts, big, and they brought them out, and I wasn't even being a jackass. I saw them coming. I'm like, oh no, that's not ours. We ordered steak. We didn't order pork. Like that's a pork chop, because they were white. And that was like, oh no, these are steaks. I'm like, no, those are white. Like that's the other white meat right there on that plate. I'm not eating, like that's not a steak. And they're like, and they didn't know what to do. So I'm like, I don't want it. Thanks. I'm good. I don't know if you've ever seen a real steak.
Why do you think it was white?
I don't know. It was the color. Like it was, you know when you steam beef.
No.
Okay, you know when you get like
Chinese food?
Chinese
That
food
sounds
beef.
awful. Sounds British.
You know when you get like a stir fry, like a takeout from a Chinese
I
takeaway.
do love a good
Oh,
chicken,
like faux
chicken
beef?
ball with red sauce.
Yeah.
It's great. Don't get me wrong. I love it
I like
in that sense, but not as a steak with a baked potato and a Caesar salad.
Well, you want to sear on that.
I don't want it to be white.
Yeah.
I want to see grill marks on my steak, right?
That
So
takes away something.
yeah.
What are the
Little
let's
bit.
go down to the worst restaurants in
Oh,
Canada.
that's a good one. I like
East Side Mario's
The
is
Worst
one of the
restaurants?
And
East Side suck
one
it,
of
yeah.
the-
yeah, that's one.
We were both together there. Yeah, Kelsey's is
Oh my
awful.
God.
Kelsey's-
and as an
yeah.
Italian, even though I'm only half Italian, East Side Mario's is so fucking offensive to me. My Italian side, like I'm just like, you turned like Italian food into Niagara Falls or something. It's
Yeah.
just
You know,
Yes.
that was
It's a
very,
joke.
That was
It's
very
a
apt. That
circus.
was very, very well said. And do you want to talk about balls for a minute, James?
oh okay.
Me-
That's
me-
a
No, we're
big
talking about
pivot.
restaurants we hate. Pick
Okay, well,
yours.
I was gonna talk about. Okay, the worst one ever is honestly, I think Tim Hortons. I love
Oh,
the
yeah.
That's
coffee,
valid. Yeah.
Valid.
but the
That's a good
food
That's a
was
good
like,
one.
Yeah.
I hate that we're known for that in this country. I hate
Same.
It's. I mean, I appreciate the need for it and the drive-through and all that. I like the coffee, but the food is just like I feel sick every time I eat it.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that.
Hey, can we
Except for the
ban
liking
people?
the coffee part. I can't stand the coffee.
Why?
Can we ban people from the comments?
Oh, yeah, no, I have a wrench for that. What do
Like
you
who?
want?
Okay, good. Because I'm sorry, Rihanna, but did you say steamed steak in foil is really good? That's got to go. Like, I'm sorry. You need to go.
Sorry, I thought you were being serious.
Well, what I was gonna Subway. Subway
Put
is
the phone
pretty,
down. Put it down.
pretty awful.
give her a chance to say the spices.
But I was gonna say, so one of my friends is like, he did the ancestry. I want to talk about meatballs. I really do, because that's why, like, I don't want to eat meatballs.
We're not
from
done the restaurant game
fast
yet.
food. Okay, I'm sorry, sir, but
She's
one of my
making it worse in
Italian,
the comments.
my Italian friend who's like 99% Italian, his name's Gianni, and I said, "Oh, John, I just made some Gianni. I made some meatballs, and I made it with like beef," and he's like, "No,
Mhm.
no, no." I'm like, "But I made them by hand, and I made them like in garlic and parsley and blah blah blah," and he's like, I don't. You're not my friend anymore. Like that's not how you make them. It's like it's veal
Pork?
or pork or a combination, and I'm just like, I will never do it again.
Wow.
I like the beef, pork, and just like if you use like 40% beef, 40% pork, and then like 20% lamb, but not the funky lamb. The less, what are you laughing at?
the less funky lamb.
Yeah, the New Zealand lamb versus the Ontario lamb.
Washington lamb is actually number one in the world. If you're
Okay.
looking for a good quality lamb, find Washington lamb. It will blow your mind. How
Yeah, I
good
like the less
lamb
gamey
from Washington
kind of
is.
lamb.
Yeah, same here. I'm not a lamb chop guy, but if it's like a Washington lamb chop that's done properly and it's medium rare and it's seasoned just just right. Oh my God, is it ever good? It's so rich though. It's very, very like very full of. You can only get so much. You know, it's almost like eating like venison or eating. I don't like bad venison. I don't like gamey meats either. But that Washington lamb, boy, oh my goodness.
Well, I tried oxtail for the first time tonight.
Such a good food.
And so, because Paul and I were talking about, I'm like, I don't want to cook anything and I don't want to clean anything. And he's like, me neither.
That was us tonight.
Talking-
You're right. I mean,
Right? And talking about food. And I was just like, well, why don't I order some, Caribbean food? And so I ordered, he's like, have you ever tried oxtail? I'm like, no, I never have. And so ordered some of that. And I've got all these bones. It was so delicious. It's like melt in the mouth. And rice and peas and plantains. I love plantains.
yeah.
And coleslaw, like really just amazing. I would order from this place anytime. And now I have all these bones left over that I can make broth out of, right? Which is good for the gut. It's good for me. It's good for the dog. It's good for Mr. Sleepyhead.
Yeah, we make our own broths and our own stocks here as well. And
Ryan says we, but he does all of it.
whatever. But yeah, no, like Jen Waddell in the comments said she grew up in Hamilton. She loves oxtail. There's a place here, and it's called the Saffin Grill, and I think they have them all over the place, really. But like I think they originated here. It's like West Indian cuisine, and their oxtail and their goat roti, by the way, is one of my most favorite foods in the goddamn world, and I don't eat it enough. And you have to find it where it's done really, really well. And it's like shredded beef almost, but just way more flavorful. So if you ever have a chance.
Cassie Lake says, sorry, go ahead. You ever have a chance?
No, go ahead.
Cassie Lake said, this is funny because I was literally just about to tell this story. I was in Ottawa 2.5 weeks ago or whatever, just on a quick meeting. And I went to the whale's bone.
Mm-hmm.
And I ordered exactly that, a roasted. I thought it was beef, but whatever it was. It was
Elk
like
bone?
this amazing, like femur bone, like whatever, like 10, 12 inches long.
Like
whatever.
a luge.
Yeah, with like the marrow still in there, and then these like caramelized onions on top with like a bunch of other shit. And first of all, it is kind of grossly filling because it's just all kind of fatty, right? Like this.
Yeah. You
And
need
then at the
toast.
end-
You need like crusty
Yeah, I was
bread
gonna
with
say
it.
bread does
Yeah,
suck.
that's what exactly. And they rest the bone on the bread so that the juices soak up on the bread or whatever. But then the guy's like, "Do you want to do the traditional thing after you eat one of those?" And I'm like, "Okay, what's that?"
The bourbon shot.
The bourbon shot down
Yeah.
the fucking river of marrow leftovers, and I'm just like, I feel like a Viking.
I know, yeah, it's true, right?
Badass.
I wanted some guy in
It's so
in
primal.
a conch to come out and ceremonialize it, whatever.
It's and I'm seeing about the seriousness of bones and dogs, and you don't like. I would never give Lola a bone, like because
No,
they
just
can,
the broth.
and with the power of that jaw, like she would end up ripping it up and choking on it. But the amount of soup, and I don't think I made it up, but I think it's good. It's
All right.
when in doubt, soup it out, right?
Yep.
Like it's so good for your body, and it's so easy to share, and it's so economical. And,
Huge.
And it's just and as you know, many of you know, like Paul begs me, he's like, please stop making soup.
That's not the impersonation of Paul. Try again.
He's like, I really appreciate that you cook for me, but could you please stop making soup? It's been a few months and you're making a lot of soup, and
It's so good though.
I actually don't like soup. I'm like, okay, it's stew. Now it's gonna be stew. I'm just gonna rebrand it.
Yeah.
See, I don't like noodles
some
or
cornstarch,
pasta
and we're done.
in my soup. I'm the same. I don't like chunky soups. I like brothy soups. I like
very picky about most things, actually.
yeah, but soup for sure. And if you're making bone broth, I'm telling you, just keep going. Get your broth, your stocks that you want, and when you have that little bit left in the stock pot, just let it keep going and make a demi glaze out of that, so you can have it for gravies and you can have it for.
How do you do that?
You just reduce it. You just keep letting it reduce and adding and reducing and adding and reducing and adding and reducing, and it's so good. And then you put that in the freezer, and then when you're making something, you can just grab a little scoop out of your frozen container with a spoon and it
It's
just
like-
explodes the flavor of whatever you're cooking.
Mhm.
It's so good.
Whatever you used is just like that's flavor concentrate. It's beautiful.
It's so good. Like every holiday dinner that we have, because Ashley's brother is a Red Seal chef. He's the one that taught me how to do it properly. And
Guy's a fucking badass.
so every year we collaborate now on, okay, can you make the chicken demi? Can you make a poultry demi? I'm going to make a beef demi if we're going to do, okay, yeah, no problem, because doing 2 of them, you're going to need 6 weeks to do it. But we've joined forces and it becomes Flavor Town. So look up how to make, actually, if you look at my Substack has a method on how to make beef demi glaze. And I promise you, you might change Paul on that soup journey if you're making the broth, like the bone broths that way. It's
Well, I'm inspired now, and I would love to know, Ashley, about your. Is there a favorite dish that your brother makes that you are just like, please make that, please make that?
Oh.
Also, Ashley's brother looks like Giovanni Ribisi, just so you know,
Oh my god.
to me.
that's really funny. I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
I just seen that one thing
James
of
has
him.
mentioned it.
Has he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen him once on the video that you guys did when they
Yeah, the food
The
truck.
food
the
truck?
food truck thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, it's the bad guy from Avatar.
He's Chrissy. I don't know. My brother does a lot of things really well, and he's the kind of guy where he doesn't do something the same twice, if that makes any sense. Like, he's always kind of changing what he's doing and trying different things based on what he's got and what season it is. So I can't say that he's got like any one cool dish. If he asks you if you want a coffee, just like say yes, because he's probably gonna make you some kind of badass latte or something. Like,
Yeah.
and anything that he does, he's gonna zhuzh it up.
He chefs it.
Yeah,
He chefs
he's
whatever
gonna
he
zhuzh it.
makes.
That's
So
good at improvising, right? Like he just whatever's in the fridge, he'll
Yeah.
just make something delicious.
he did our wedding too. Like, the
Yeah.
guy's kind of ridiculous. So I can't say, but there was one
His
time
crab
we-
cakes are really good.
I was gonna say we went to his restaurant and Ryan was actually doing some photography work for him, and he made kind of like their dinner lineup for us, and just for the two of us, and it was a lot of fucking food.
Oh, that was so
it
much food.
A lot of food.
And it was all just for photos, but we were like, I was getting the photos done really quick so that it didn't get cold, so I could fucking eat it because it looks
Yeah.
so goddamn good.
He made me this absolutely beautiful beef tenderloin with a compound butter that he had made, and it had like just gorgeous heirloom carrots, and it was stunning. It was probably one of the greatest things I've ever eaten, and my brother made it, so that was pretty badass.
That was in London. That's
Yeah.
when he was at the
Katana.
Katana Cafe in London. Yeah, we if you go on Google and you look those pictures up, you'll see my name. It's what made me an actual Google like
Getty
official
Images
Google
guy.
Well, yeah, because I was getting emails because I did this for them and we posted it as a review as well. And the next thing I know, I'm getting these emails saying, "Hey, your review is really getting a lot of traction." I'm not paying attention to it, right? Like, whatever. Thanks, Google, whatever. And then I clicked on one of them. And it's like, your photo, and this is 4 days in, your photo has 74,000 views. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Hey.
Oh,
Hey,
no.
sorry, don't put me out. I'm coming right back. I just
If
wanna
that
get some
happens
water.
again, you ain't come back. Jesus Christ.
Well, don't put those cans near that mic. That's all.
Hey, be respectful. Oh,
Don't
you
talk
meant the
about our
headphones.
cans.
Sorry.
I know.
Okay,
Are
I'm
they?
muting- I'm
That's what
muting you.
happens. Yeah, when you
I
pull them
Muted
off
you. I'm
and do
muting you.
that.
It's okay. You're muted.
Oh, there you go. Okay, you can do whatever.
I think it's important to give people credit when they're a good cook. Even like serial killers, a lot of them were chefs. And my ex,
Jeffrey Dahmer.
not that hard of a pivot, the unconscionable human being that she is, she actually made like some really good dishes. Have you ever had cabbage rolls that you could just cut with the side of a fork?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
My ex made those, and I'm just like, holy shit, these are
know,
fucking fantastic.
It's
Like,
funny that you say that about killers and being decent cooks, because there's actually footage of my dad making spaghetti sauce in prison.
Yeah.
So like,
And he is a actual killer.
yeah, they have a vegetable garden, and they
really
didn't
funny.
like what was for dinner that night. So he's actually
I used to say it was
Making
toilet bowl
spaghetti.
pesto. He
Yeah.
was making toilet bowl pesto in the clink, and yeah.
just rocking his own gravy.
a blood red marinara. Right?
Can we expand on this just for people that might not know, that didn't catch that episode, so they get this joke?
My dad is a convicted murderer.
Yes. Sorry.
And her dad also was featured on a CBC documentary about people in prison that were in for life sentences, which her dad is, and it was all about the things that they do in prison, and his was making a pasta sauce. Which
He had a
was-
baseball team they didn't talk about. I was a little miffed about that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You had a
They
baseball
kinda-
team?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a baseball team, which is amazing because once he left, we couldn't afford to do organized sports. But I'm glad that jail's going well for you, Dad.
Yeah.
That's
called ironical.
Thanks.
Did they have a hockey rink? Let's talk about the
Yeah,
hockey
right.
rinks.
Yeah, he drives the Zamboni for
Well,
70 cents a day.
Paul Atkinson joins us, also
Yeah, I'm
known
just
as
jumping in for a
Mademoiselle
couple
Fox.
minutes. Just jumping in for a couple minutes to say hello.
Hey, Paulie.
How's it going, guys?
Good. You?
Other than murder,
You
Dad,
sound better.
Well, yeah. I was really sick. I'm much better today, and I've just been hanging out on the couch with Lola, watching you guys on the television. Sorry, and I just thought I'd pop in and say hello. Well, my beloved had to do what nature requires on occasion.
I'm sure
I'm
she
sure
loved
she
that you shared
appreciates
that.
you telling us that. Yeah, that's
Also,
great.
can you do an impersonation of her? Because she does a fantastic impersonation of you.
Go for it. I don't think that's
So,
Not Douglas. I'm just
I was
kidding.
at the thing with the place and the guy, and we watched a music thing. I can't do it.
She's got like a CBC podcast voice. Like,
Yeah.
I found
Like Radio 1.
that the character who played
Think Q.
in the lead role was just a little bit too tepid for my taste. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
This week on CBC Radio 1.
yeah.
Well, we could do the this week on NPR is Pete Schweddy. Well, he's going to introduce us to his Schweddy balls.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's hosting his
taken a lot of big
64th
pivots today.
annual Schweddy Ball.
Schweddy balls.
now available at
I
Arby's.
take it. I'll take that.
Yes.
'Cause I actually do talk like that, and I honestly, the more he makes fun of me, the more I laugh. I'm like, do you know what? I was in Westboro, and I was like, my kale smoothie was warm. It wasn't cold.
I really wanted it to be warm, but it was cold, and I just don't know what to say about that.
You know I'm not like that, but I love that. I've never heard you do my voice before.
Well, it's not easy. I mean, my voice is kind of deep in comparison to yours. I've got a little bit of guttural there. So, all right,
Guttural.
jump in.
What was the chicken place called? Los Pollos Hermanos. Remember in Breaking
Yeah.
Bad?
Los Pollos.
I think that they stole that idea from what Arby's really was or is, because
Arby's?
I find it
Why
impossible.
Arby's?
Because I find it impossible that Arby's has been able to maintain a customer base at all throughout the 30 years. And I'm not making fun of Lachlan. I swear to God, there was one in Whitby, and it was like no one was ever there. It was always empty. The parking lot was empty, but yet it was there for 35 years. And
It's funny you bring that up because today my
Yep.
kid and I were at Lime Ridge, okay? And we were at Lime Ridge Mall, which is the biggest mall in the city. And we said, let's get lunch in the food court because I said, where do you want to go for lunch? And I said, world's our oyster. You pick. We want to go for sushi. We want to go fancy. I don't care. It's March break. We're going to go out and we're going to have lunch. And you know what? I just want a hot dog from Harvey's. And I'm like, I'm not eating fucking Harvey's.
a hot dog.
I ended up eating Harvey's, but I'm like, okay, let's go to the food court because there's a Harvey's in the food court, and if you want that, for some reason it was a weird craving. Fine, I'll entertain it. We go into the food court, and it's lunchtime. It's like 12:30, quarter to 1, and every station in the food court, there's what 15 vendors in the food court in that mall.
Probably more.
Maybe whatever. We'll say 15. Out of 15 of them, 14 of them had lineups, and the only one that didn't was Arby's, because she had made an Arby's joke about no idea that Arby's was like a Canadian thing. Oh, Arby's is here. I'm like, yeah. I said Arby's it's an American chain, but it's just like McDonald's. It's up here as well. Oh, I thought it was just an American thing. I said, well, and then we turned and we looked, and there's the Arby's, and there was not a soul at the counter at the Arby's. I'm like, how do you stay in business?
I'm so hungry I could eat at Arby's.
Delicious.
It is like
No.
a melty cheese roast beefy thing. I used to eat them in high school.
Yeah, but is that memory that's bringing you back there? Because if you ate it
is.
today, would you really love it? Do you
No,
think?
I would barf immediately. But
They're awful.
It's
'Cause
like
I had the
cold
same
cut
thing.
roast beef, but steamed. I don't get it.
That's that gray beef we're talking about.
Yeah. The gray
Oh.
beef we were talking about, like
I
putting it
didn't
in a
order
tin
pork.
foil pack.
And then leaving it out in the sun.
It's so gross. So we tried it. Remember that it was just after COVID when they opened the mall again, right? And we were in the mall, Ashley and I, and I said, I can't constantly, this is when I was still a co-host on Dean's show. And I said, I can't constantly shit on Lachlan for this until I go and actually do it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. It can't be that bad. And it was that bad.
It was
like,
that
it was
bad.
just that bad. I ended up with 3 bites into the sandwich. I ate some of the curly fries. The cheese sauce, like it tasted like someone warmed Vaseline in a microwave and just put a little bit of salt in it. There was no flavor to it at all. It was so bad. No, Cassie, I'm sorry. I love sous vide, but you sear a sous vide after, by the way.
I hope Cassie gets this one, but there's a place in Lethbridge where I went to do an ultra, and there's a place I never heard of it before, and it was called Fat Ass Burger or something like that.
Fat bastard burrito.
No, Fat Ass
Burgers.
Fat Ass Burgers. You know it, right?
Fat piece of
No.
shit chicken fingers.
That's it.
But it's like it's just
you
a very-
morbidly obese cocksucker.
No,
fucking
I'm like-
Chinese
like,
food.
I'm not
.com.
getting it right, but it's basically called Fat Burger or something like that. It
Fat
was-
burger's a thing. That was a
delicious.
thing in the States, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think this is I don't know. It's a Canadian.
I think
chain
every
or
rapper
something.
sang about Fat Burger for a bit.
After I did the ultra, and I'm just like, I would like to eat anything. Just massive and median. So we went to Fat Ass Burger, and it was just like, honestly, it wasn't pretty. It was just like, it was a delicious burger. I think it's a small chain, and I was just like,
You got to pick. Okay, so you got to pick a fast food joint. If you only had one, which one are you picking?
fast food joint. A&W, hamburgers, and Whoopia.
Okay, James.
So, yeah,
We did this already, and I think I picked Wendy's, but now that they did the surge pricing idea, even though they retracted it, I can't, in good conscience, actually pick them. I think I might be with you. A&W, McDonald's will always be I order McDonald's hamburgers. I order because I want to order 2 or 3 of them. I'm so with Anthony Bourdain when he was still with us, and he was like, if shit falls out of your burger, no, that's not what you want. You want to be able to hold your burger, drive your car, and not have shit fall in your white pants, right? Like, and I'm with him. I think the combination of the little bits of onion, the ketchup, which I hate normally, and the pickle,
That's my favorite.
it's the greatest thing ever. And
Yeah.
you don't have to deal with
Those
tomatoes and mayo. when people put
Rehydrated
mayo.
onion.
Ugh.
Rehydrated onion is my favorite. I don't like the slivered onions that come on a quarter pounder,
I
but
do.
the little tiny chopped up nuggets that get rehydrated in ketchup on a small cheap burger are my favorite thing in the world. Ashley and I before you say it, I think we're going to be on the same page.
I was going to say something actually disgusting, but carry on.
Oh, I want to hear that.
You go. You
Go ahead.
Ashley.
I've eaten 2 quarter pounder combos just this week.
Yeah,
In fact,
yeah.
I think
March
I think
break
it was
is
a
really-
Tuesday and a Friday maybe.
When did your head cold come?
I was sick over the last weekend.
All right, so what's yours?
I hate to say it, but it's McDonald's for consistency. Like it's like at least you know what you're getting.
And the fries are still
is
better.
everybody
there than
forgetting
it was.
Five Guys? Like Five Guys.
Five Guys doesn't count to me as
That's fast food.
I can't drive through.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
No,
It's still
fast
it's
food
a fast
no.
food chain.
That's a good litmus test. The drive-through is come on. That sounds a little like how many
Then I
it
miss
must be-
Licks.
Licks?
Licks hamburgers.
Also not fast food, but
yeah,
delicious.
it had a drive-through.
Did it?
Yes, it
Yeah,
did.
Licks counts. Licks
I
counts.
only ever ate in at a Licks, but I was a kid when they closed, so that's valid.
McDonald's does slap, really. Like
know.
every once in a while, like that Big Mac just hits right.
I went
I'm
with
sorry.
my coworkers today, and we were like giddy fucking teenagers eating McDonald's, and we had a great time.
And nuggets. How can you go
Just
wrong
us
with
gals.
nuggets? And that just plain old shitty barbecue sauce.
friend
Like
got a
it's so
milkshake.
good.
Great day.
This was it. I think it was A&W that used to have like waitresses on roller skates and short skirts.
Yeah.
Was
Shit's
that
dangerous.
A&W?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they
been
used to.
fucking dangerous, and they're like, they've got a tray with all this food and drink, and they're like roller skating
Sonic
to
did
a
that too.
car.
Yeah,
Really, I
there's a
didn't know
dozen
that
girls
one.
that
I'm
would
just
love to
like,
have that opportunity. Bridget.
You know what's
Yeah,
sad?
no,
is
I mean,
that,
they should be paying the A&W for the opportunity, right?
people,
That's right.
right. People would probably still shit on fast food workers if they were doing all of that and what they do already. Just saying. I think the people are pretty shitty to service workers, so
Absolutely.
I can't rightly say, you know what, you should probably strap some skates on and fucking entertain me while you're at it.
and put on a short skirt and show me your boobs. And
I've worked at a lot of restaurants, and I only showed my boobs a few times, but I've never like. It's the most stressful job ever. Like I couldn't imagine working fast food. I've never done that, but like
I have what
Working
we
at-
call a back of house mouth. Like they don't put me out front.
that's exactly right. Right now, the back of the house, people don't understand how like it is almost like the world's only example of most of the time friendly polarization. Where
Yeah,
you are
absolutely.
completely the opposite. You know, and then when you get a newbie that comes in, it's like, I don't really like appreciate hearing language from the cook. The manager's got a job to do right there, and it's fire that person. That's
That's at the point where you roast the piss out of them until they either conform or they leave. That's how nobody has to fire anybody. You either leave on your own accord or in tears, obviously. But if you can't, working in a kitchen is not for the faint of heart. I'm sorry.
well, I'm sorry,
I was just in one for 6 months, and the amount of waitresses that I saw come and go, and some of them came for like 2 shifts and just like didn't fucking come back.
Yeah.
And it's because the other girls will eat you alive if you're not on top of your shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then if you come in the back and you're fucking up with your orders that you're putting in, we're gonna ask you why. What is this? What is it? What are you typing? What is this
Well,
shit?
there's
Or
no
when they
shit
stand there with
taken,
their
right?
hand on their hip and they're waiting for you to finish cutting the quesadilla, but they're just standing there and they're like, and you just look at, like literally, I stopped, just like wiped my knife on my chef coat, put it down, and just looked at them like this. What are you doing? And I'm like, I am waiting for you to stop staring at me while I'm prepping your food. She's like, I'm like, don't you have anything else to do? She's like, I don't know.
I served throughout my undergraduate degree and my graduate degree, and I'm a pleaser. I know that, but you have to charm the chefs and the sous. You know, you're like, all
I
right.
just want to say that I had a chef coat on, but I'm not a chef. I'm a grill guy.
Same.
Well, I'm
that
like,
guy.
you know what? Table 5 has been waiting for 25 minutes, and table 4 has already been served. So, you think we could fix that?
Yeah.
You know, and then and this is a true story. There was just amazing people in the kitchen in the back of the house. There was a woman who had been to prison. So this was almost my first tattoo. I was in Kitchener Waterloo. Well, really, I was
The Edelweiss, by any chance?
What's that?
Was it the Edelweiss in Kitchener?
No, it was called Fast Breaks, and it was in the
Okay.
building that like a bunch of high tech companies were in. It was right by University of Waterloo, which is where I went to did my undergrad. And there was this really super awesome, solid woman who worked in the kitchen, and she had been in prison, and she knew how to do tattoos. And we were chatting, and I was just like, I kind of think I want a tattoo. And I was like, I'm thinking about the Jamaican bird, the bird on the Jamaican currency. And she's like, I'm like on my ankle, and she's like, I could do that for you. We could do it tomorrow. And I'm like, I think I have to.
Let me get my Bic pen and my
No,
lighter.
Like, so I
Because all
didn't.
the best artists have open availability.
Right? So thankfully I didn't
Very
do it,
true.
but I was just like, I don't remember her name, but she was a good person, and she was, she'd been to prison for, she's not a bad person.
Say it. What you do?
She didn't talk about it. She didn't talk about it, but this is a very hardworking woman. I was in my, I was like 19 or 18 or whatever, and she was probably in her 40s, and I'm just like, she's lived a hard life. She's not a bad person. And I'm like,
Nobody
I'm sure
says she's bad, but I want to know what she did.
I honestly, I don't know. I'm just like,
Did you get the tattoo? That's where
no,
we're
I
at.
didn't do it. I was just like, for once, my common sense prevailed. But yeah, no, I was just like, my teenage brain was like, yeah, I should totally get a tattoo of a Jamaican bird on my ankle
That sounds great.
outside of a restaurant. Someone
In a car.
just got out of prison.
In someone's Ford Taurus.
And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should think about this overnight before I decide.
It's a good one to sleep on.
Sleep on. Oh, she was awesome. She was awesome. And I also worked with a woman from Tennessee. Bobby Joe Endicott, and this is when I didn't listen. I am honestly like fairly oblivious a lot of the time, but so Bobby Joe Endicott was like, came from a family of like a lot of kids. She grew up poor. We worked at the restaurant together. She was so kind and awesome. We ended up living together for a summer. This is a bit of a saucy one, I'm going to tell you.
All right. We like those.
So it was just me and her living in my apartment because my roommates moved out for the summer, and Bobby Joe needed a place to live. So she moved in, and she was a great roommate. She's so lovely. And then one day she came home with some lingerie. She's like, I got this for you.
Wow.
I was like,
well.
For me?
I'm like,
was it at least your color, your style?
Like peach,
Oh, hang on.
No.
Hang on.
peach sexy stuff.
Peach,
and I'm like,
no.
Hang on. All right, slow down and tell me about it. Did she ask you to put it on in front of her, Bridget?
yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, I just want to make sure that it fits. And I was like, honestly,
What a
I was
good friend.
fucking oblivious. And I'm like,
What a good friend.
I was like, that is so nice of you to, and I'm not a total fucking idiot. I was part of the, I mean, I am, but I was part of like the women's center at University of Waterloo, which was super,
Oh, now I can't play the porn music. This is going to sound
Less
so misogynistic. That's
like I went to a women's dance, and I'm like this, I'm absolutely confident in my, my sexuality. And I was just like, anyway, I was very surprised when she got me peach lingerie, and I was just like, thanks, Bobby Joe. But I was just like, I don't know.
Another BJ.
Happening. Yeah, BJ.
BJ
And
squared.
I remember, I remember going to
Coming back. Sorry. You're
What-
missing it, James. You missed the best part of the show.
I was
Okay,
like,
so what happened once you got the lingerie on?
Yeah, tell us. Okay, so what happened?
She's like,
Ryan's playing fuck around over here.
it's Casual Friday, so I'm going for it. I'm like,
Oh, fuck yeah.
it fits really well. Thank you so much. And I'm like, I'm gonna go put on my army pants now instead of this.
Oh.
'Cause I wore a lot of
Was
army
peach
pants.
your color? Did you actually like peach things or?
I did.
Yeah?
No, she was awesome. I wish she was still in my life. She was an amazing human being. But I'll tell you about the women's dance, and I was just like, my
I need
parents-
to get a drink.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can.
Well,
I can handle
we're
any more
wrapping
of
in
this.
14 minutes, by the way.
All right. Well, you don't
think of
you don't
is
want the sorry.
Don't shut my camera off. Or you'll mute my wife again. She'll get mad at me.
Now
There's
you're
an
just tempting
episode
me.
of The Simpsons where something happens to Mose. I can't remember now, and they're looking for another bar, and they end up going to a lesbian bar, and they're all standing there wondering what's going on. And Homer's like, "I know what's wrong with this place. There's no fire exit," and he just doesn't even know where he is, kind of thing, right? It's like cool. As long as you're cool, man. Be here.
That's so funny.
I went to this, I was like, I'm political and I'm feminist and I'm going to join the Women's Center at the University of Waterloo. And it was a great, welcoming, warm space.
A lot of hiking boots.
There were a lot of ideas. And there was like a women's dance one night, like just women. And that's the term that was used then. And I was like, that sounds awesome because I'm a fucking love dancing. I'm a super good dancer. And I was like, what should I bring? And I'm like, should I bring some popcorn? And like, yeah, bring some popcorn. So I talked to my parents and I'm like, because they live in Waterloo, and I'm like, I'm going to the women's dance tonight and I'm bringing some popcorn and my friend Stacy and we're going to dance our asses off. And they're like, okay.
Do you?
Sorry.
That's very sweet.
It was awesome. It was like, but it was such a safe space. Like dancing with women is, it's a safe space,
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I always feel
Yeah.
the safest when I'm dancing with women. It's just-
Shut up, James.
I'm agreeing with her.
My best friend is as gay as the day is long. I don't even think she's ever looked at a man.
Oh, so she's
not-
a gold star.
Gold star, yeah, 100%. And she is just the dearest creature that I know. We went through college together, and I always felt incredibly safe with her as my best friend. And I used to have people ask me all the time, like, aren't you afraid something's going to happen? And I was like, no, we both have people. We're just friends. And it's nice to have friends that
Yeah.
you feel safe with.
Yeah, absolutely. And
It doesn't really matter what they do.
I have some dear friends. I won't say their names, but they live in Wakefield, Quebec, and they found each other. One of them's Gold Star. One of them is they're both actually. And I'm like, nobody's got my friggin' back like those two. And yeah, they're just like incredible. And then I'm like, they're like, this is funny, I think. And I'm like, oh, well, Wakefield is it has a significant lesbian community. And I was saying like, well, in Ottawa where I live, and there's just like, these are, I've got L and M are two really good friends. And like, I think I know about 4 lesbian couples, and I don't think I know anybody happier. And my friends who are in Wakefield, Quebec, are like, how do you know so many lesbians? We don't know that many lesbians. I'm like, you live in fucking Wakefield, Quebec. Like, you have to try. You don't have to try even. Like, you just have to go out the door.
You're there.
It should be their choice if they want to try. But
My brain goes to like 12-year-old me every time I hear like groups of lesbians in any conversation. I'm sorry.
Ryan just wants to know if there's pillow fights.
do you-
Yeah, there's pillow
is that
fights
your way
and
of
jello.
saying that you miss playing softball?
Jello wrestling and pillow fights.
My mom played softball.
My friends in Wakefield, the two friends that I was mentioning, one of them, she's from England, and she's from a very tough part of England, Birmingham. I can't. Oh no, sorry, that's not England. But she's come from a really hard ass background.
Brighton Beach.
No,
Peaky
it's
Blinders?
yes, she's from Peaky Blinders, but no, she's from a really this is how tough she is. So she came from a family of 4 kids, a highly abusive father, like a father who was so physically abusive that her mom, who had no money, put them in, he took the turkey that she'd cooked all day and that they could barely afford, and he was angry and he threw it out the back door. So she put the kids in a cab, and she went she spent a lot of money that she didn't have just to get them the fuck out of there.
Good
So
for
this
him.
is my friend Kelly, and yeah, she's tough as balls, I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that is not an easy thing to do.
Ryan, you're the king of juxtaposition soundtracking.
Yeah.
Do you remember the
I-
time? Do you remember
I'm
the
just-
time when I played my song about eating a peach for hours, and you put John Tory's kid up
Yeah.
dancing?
Do you know how often that fucking song about you eating a peach creeps into my brain and I shiver a little bit? I'm like, oh.
I put John Tory's kid dancing.
Gotta eat a lot of peaches.
Oh
I'm
no,
moving
that's
to the country.
upbeat.
Yeah.
James took it somewhere a little darker.
I think we
It
need
was inspired by
some
Nicolas Cage
song.
line in the movie Face Off.
How-
No, okay, you
It's not
sound
my
like Paul right now. I'm like, no, obviously everybody knows that.
no.
I left and it was a hot story about peach lingerie and lesbians, and I came back and it sounded like
Yeah, we're talking about James eating a peach.
something was terrible.
hours. And then
So if you still have that lingerie, James can eat a peach for hours.
Just like
You know what? I wish I did, and I would like to find Bobby Joe Endicott. She's out there somewhere.
another BJ. That's
Type
my
it in
favorite.
On Facebook, I guarantee she's like the top 3 hits. She'll be there.
She was awesome. Do you want to play that song? Eat a lot of peaches.
We
Oh
can't.
yeah.
No, okay.
We'll
Oh,
get
yeah,
booted.
right.
Yeah.
unfortunately, the only music we actually can play on the show is mine.
And
I'm
my
not gonna
porn
do it.
and my
It's
porn
fine.
theme.
Yeah,
You may have
Wow.
this.
I'm just gonna. I
Some TV themes are okay too, because they're in public domain now. So
well, what can you play, or what should we talk about?
Well, we don't talk about what we should talk about for one thing. Oh, there we go.
now
I hear you're not supposed to talk about Bruno. No. It's just me.
oh, it's a Disney movie, isn't it?
Sorry.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
why?
We went from
That's funny.
salacious lesbians to Disney flicks for
Hey,
kids.
hey.
What's wrong with
My
you?
lesbian friends fucking love Disney. Okay.
Listen, do you know how good there's so many high quality kids movies
Mermaids.
nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like like there was no Coco and Moana when I was a kid. It was awful shit when I was a kid, and the Minions are hilarious. Like,
Oh yeah, Minions are funny.
I think of old like 30s and 40s Disney.
Bob. What? Sorry.
The stuff they don't play anymore.
Have you all heard of this is relevant. Have you all heard of Silkies?
No.
Silkies or Selkies?
The movie?
No, Silkies
Okay.
are
What is
so
it?
I was speaking with Cassie about this morning because I learned about them when I went to Nova Scotia with my son. So Silkies are mystical creatures that come out of the sea, and they're always women, and they come to land and they transform into women.
Why? Oh.
Well, yes, they do.
Mhm.
And they take human form, and they hang around for as long as they want.
They're probably always wet.
They marry
Oh.
men, and then they have children sometimes they don't, and then they often just disappear. And I'm like, what I think that means is like life was fucking hard. I obviously don't think Silkies are real, but who knows. And then I'm like, well, maybe their life was shit, and they
Sounds like Dundas. It was like the single
know?
mother wed capital of Canada.
like
God.
like
That's
this
where they
is
all go.
shit.
They take their kids to Dundas.
They're like, I
love
have
Dundas. I call
got
it
a
fun
shit
house.
ass husband, and kids are fucking hard, and I'm living in rural, oceanfront territory, and life's fucking hard. And I'm like, yeah, there's probably a reason why they ran away.
We've talked about Dundas before, James. Did you know that it is the national capital of unwed mothers in Canada?
I thought that was
And it held that title for fucking decades.
really because it seems to be like a good like this average household income there seems to be high.
Dundas is lovely.
It is lovely. I didn't say it wasn't
Dundas.
lovely. I'm just saying there's a lot of, girls that are.
So Abbotsford got knocked off.
It did.
PC.
Shockingly.
Yeah, and Banff is the leader in STDs. I don't know if you knew that because of all the seasonal workers.
Yeah, I've heard that. Banff and Canmore.
Our town has like a housewives complex happening.
They actually have a problem in
Oh my God.
Alberta with
The Housewives of Hamilton would be the greatest show ever.
No, it's Binbrook.
Oh.
with syphilis.
What the
Syphilis
hell?
in Alberta is
What the hell
out
is
of control.
Binbrook? What? I need to hear
It's
about
like
Binbrook.
it's like a suburb of Hamilton.
It's a pocket.
Yeah, it's
And
like the
that's-
country.
This is some weird shit up here.
Like
This
a
is where
syphilis pocket.
this is where
like a
urban
herpes sore.
we're like the urban sprawl capital of the country, and that's where it landed. Was here. It was all farmland, and now we have townhouses and
Boob
food
jobs.
basics and yeah.
Well,
but
Puffy lips.
but no, Alberta's
The
got
mayor sucks too.
Alberta's. Oh yeah, Horath is a
Valid.
yeah, she's an idiot. The syphilis capital is Alberta.
Oh, hot damn, that's nasty.
Yeah, syphilis of all
Honestly,
things.
I'd love to know the stats on this, but Yellowknife has a massive syphilis outbreak.
Well, what-
At this point, when I went there, I went to the bathroom.
I'm so excited about the syphilis.
I know it's a thing. So I was working at the Arctic Comedy Festival up there, and I went out to meet one of my dearest friends who's been on Paul's show before, and we just went out for some food and having a beer. And I went into the bathroom, and in the bathroom there's a sign saying like, there is a syphilis outbreak in this city. Please wear condoms. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm not even having sex up here, but I feel like I just want to put on a condom. Like, no, it's like, it's a huge thing around, young people, but also like women and men who are in their 40s and 50s because and older. They're just like, fuck it, I just want to have sex, and I mean, I don't care. Like, AIDS is over. I'm like, well, it's not actually, and syphilis is back.
I love that South Park episode. It's been 22 years. AIDS is finally funny.
Not HIV, but full blown AIDS.
Yeah.
That was the South Park
Oh my
Okay,
version of
I
that.
am a hard out at 10:30. So Ryan, you have a fun fact about syphilis.
I do. Actually, this is Ashley's. Ashley was the one. I think you dug this up.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is it?
yeah. So do you know when you see, we always say that high society when people have their pinky up when they're drinking their drinks. Do you know that's an
Tea
actual?
specifically when you're having tea with your pinky out.
Did you know that's actually
Involuntary.
a symptom? It's an involuntary syphilitic symptom, and that if you had syphilis back in those days, you were looked upon as being of high society if you were infected with syphilis.
Really?
And this became a thing. Google it. Like everybody, I urge you tonight. We're ending this podcast in a couple of minutes. When we log off, I want you to go to Google and talk about the syphilis pinky and read about it. And
I don't want it to impact my Google search history.
Next time, yeah, you're gonna
maybe
change
we
your
should
algorithm
now.
tonight.
Maybe we should end it with a syphilis pinkies up. Like I had never heard that before. I just thought it was fancy.
Yeah, people used to. Jen says it. They used to fake it.
Yeah.
They would fake it to think that they had because syphilis and gout were both the rich people diseases.
What, just as like a camaraderie thing? Oh, I don't want to be the only one without syphilis, so they put their
Mm-hmm.
pinky
I want
out.
everybody
That
to
is the
think that I got
weirdest
banged by somebody else. That's high
With a
society.
drippy dick.
Excuse me, sir. May I borrow your leaky dick for high society purposes?
Oh my god, I love you.
Is it St. Swimming's Day already?
I think I'm just about to pee my pants. Feel better, my dear.
Thank you. This was
Now
lovely.
let's all go boil some beef.
Speaking of English society,
That's right.
yeah, this napkin is quite spicy. It's too much
This
flavor.
syphilis is making me thirsty.
And
The syphilis is making me thirsty.
My joints are so stiff.
It's like I've had syphilis 10 times. How about you?
Oh,
I
shit.
haven't.
All right. Well, listen, everybody. Thank you for doing this. This is only half a show if you go by our standard from the last time, which was a 5-hour podcast was just crazy. Without being on shrooms. And so it was it was a learning experience. We'll be back next week.
Sorry, Jay Craig.
Yeah.
Jay Craig's comment before we end. I'm not Googling that. I'll end up on the CPC mailing list.
Wow.
Actually, it'd be more like the Alberta conservatives, but yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. Ryan, Ashley, Bridget, thank you to Douglas Connors as well, and Paul Atkinson, and of course, Spenny.
Yeah, hit up his Patreon, everybody, please.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Did I put the link? Here, I'm going to put
Yeah,
the
you
link
did.
in just in
Yeah,
case.
no,
The more
it's-
money you spend, the more cool shit you get to see.
Yeah,
Spenny is a guy
he's
worth
one of the
supporting.
funniest motherfuckers out
Yeah.
there. He's low key hilarious. Like
I feel like
now,
he might head into a Brittle Star direction if he,
I think
does
so
that
too.
green screen and does
Yeah.
his thing,
I think
Yeah,
he's got that he's settled into his age. You know what I mean? Like we know him from back in the day when he was a wild and crazy cat, but he's actually an intellectually funny fucking dude. Like I love Spenny. I think he's one of the most fun people to have as a guest.
Yeah.
One of the most fun people to talk to outside of this. His view on regular life is so I don't even know the word.
Other than you, he's been on the show more than anyone.
Yeah.
I've had him on like 10, 12 times or something like that.
He should be. Yeah, he definitely, we need to keep him around, so please support his Patreon.
He falls into a category that I've always believed in, that it takes a smart guy to play a dumb guy.
Totally.
100%.
Ashley Lindley, Ryan Lindley, Bridget
Mwah.
Mellon,
Mwah.
thank you guys very much. I
Good to
will
see
see
you.
you next
We love
time.
you.
I'm going to
Happy
kick
Friday.
you out,
Thanks,
do this,
James.
and then do that, and then this other guy right here. Bye, Bridget. That was fun. I couldn't do 5 hours today. I did a show earlier today, but that was a lot of fun. I always have fun with those guys. Thanks again to Spenny and Douglas Connors as well. My next show, I'm not really sure. It's coming next week. I'm probably going to do 3 shows next week and just keep it at 3 every week. But I think I'm having Cream of Sad on next week. I am having a psilocybin expert on next week. And who's the other one? Oh, I hate it when I forget someone, so I won't try to remember because what's the point of that? We'll see you next time on Blackballed.
Blackmore. Blackmore. Blackmore.